Moving to a brand new location in Montgomery. With lots of Kubota inventory, we're going to sell it instead of move it. Our big moving sale is a great time to get a great deal on a Kubota at Capital Tractor in Montgomery.
1819 News.
U.S. Senator Tommy Tuberville is making a prediction on who the Democratic National Committee will ultimately stick with when it comes to the November election for president. Tuberville was being interviewed on the Outkick podcast called Don't Hashtag Me. That's when he was asked if he's confident that Donald Trump will win the presidency regardless of who the Democrats go with.
I think Trump wins. I think you're going to probably see a change in the team for the Democrats. I just can't imagine after what we've seen of Joe Biden. Again, I think it's too late for them to do it, but they might try it as some kind of desperate pitch.
Who would the Democrats bring in?
Yeah, I would imagine they got to get somebody with a name. They can't spend a lot of money and the time on a name. So Newsom is probably their most well-known person, or they might move up Kamala Harris. Who knows? President Trump has to win this, and if he does, we got a chance in this country again, Coach.
I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Covenant Rescue Group seeks to directly support organizations and agencies that are fighting the global battle against human trafficking. They do this through funding, procuring, and advocating. You can go to covenantrescue.org for further details. They need your donations, guys. Hop on and donate.
Central Alabama Crime Stoppers has increased a reward to find the persons responsible for a triple murder in Montgomery. The 3 murder victims were Hispanic men who were shot and killed at the Tienda Los Hermanos. The reward to find the murderer is now at $40,000 after the mayor of Montgomery and other city council members contributed thousands of dollars to increase that amount. One of 2 suspects in the kidnapping and murder of 3-year-old Cupcake McKinney back in 2019 in Birmingham was in court this week. Patrick Stallworth took part in a status hearing for the start of his capital murder trial. That trial could start this coming September, or it could be pushed out further. It all depends on the completion of federal processing of the evidence. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-611-5252. 800-611-5252. 800-611-5252. The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
You know, they used to say Abraham Lincoln got the worst press. I said there's no way he got worse than me.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by go. You know the thing.
Hold on to your butt.
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into News and Views in the afternoon, or as we're calling the show online, Joey Clark Live. In the studio with me, we have the one, the only, my co-host Eddie Bader. How you doing, Eddie? Yeah, you seem to be a little bit down in the dumps today.
Trying to bite my tongue. All is good.
That's fair. No, that's fair. We don't have to bring everything off air onto there. But still, that photo of you from the 80s, you were a good-looking young man.
I don't know. I think you and Kevin were kind of giggling at my expense a little bit on that, Joey.
You look like a woman.
Just because you have big hair back then, Joey, don't mean you're a woman.
It wasn't just that. It was like, did you have a skin routine?
I was just pale. It was Alaska. I wasn't goth. I was just naturally pale.
You look like a woman.
I don't know if it's a woman.
You hung out with your sisters too long is what it was.
Well, they did tell me I had good hair, and I probably let that go to my head a little bit.
Oh, Eddie Bader with the good hair?
Yeah, I got the good hair. But I'm telling you, when we're in the old folks' home, I'll be the one the ladies are chasing. I got the good hair.
Well, hopefully we'll get you in a better mood here today.
I'm sure we will.
At least for a few hours, and then it'll all go away after.
There you go.
But as is tradition now, on Wednesdays, let's kick off the show with the one, the only Jeff Poor. He's the host of the Jeff Poor Show. They're at 106.5 FM in the Mobile-Fair Oak area and editor-in-chief at 1819 News. Jeff, how you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing well, Joey. Thanks for having me on.
Yep. So you celebrating Juneteenth today?
Only way I know how, which is working.
Yeah, there you go. I've always worked every Juneteenth myself. And as I was perusing online, do you find it as frustrating as I do that when people go back to history, it's not to learn actually about history and like the aspects of human nature and the fascinating things. They kind of just pick history, a part of it, and use it as a modern day political cudgel, just to hit other people over the head. And I'm looking at Twitter today going, oh my goodness, this is what a mess.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, it's really, and it's so cherry picking, very anecdotal the way it's applied. Like mankind's complicated if you go all the way back to the beginning of human civilization, right?
Right.
But we just kind of pick and choose whatever, I guess, suits a political agenda or a grievance or something that makes us feel better about ourselves.
Well, and then it goes into the absurd. Dukes of Hazzard is now trending on Twitter today.
Oh.
So,
gotcha.
I thought it was about the shorts and Daisy, but apparently it's about other things.
Really?
Yeah, anyway.
It's odd.
What an odd day. Are we going to get rural broadband in the state? Is that actually working here in Alabama?
Do you know anybody who has actually gotten broadband from any, not just state or national, from any rural broadband initiative?
I don't, Eddie. You know anybody?
No, I don't. Not at all.
I think these are mythical creatures. I don't think they exist. I'm on all honesty. It's like what are we doing here? And this kind of fascinating discussion. My state senator down here, Chris Elliott, has challenged the sort of the rural broadband profiteers, if you will, that want to take fiber out to every house in Alabama. It seems like a very, very difficult task, but that's where this is trending. He's like, what about Starlink?
Right.
So the estimated price tag to get fiber to each rooftop, they put it at like $6,000 per rooftop. However, he says for $600,
yeah,
and a lot faster and a lot more expedient in the meantime, until you could get to your perfect utopia with a chicken in every pot and a fiber connection to every household, the Starlink thing seems to be more cost effective.
Yeah, I'm looking at a Washington Times headline that says Biden's $42.5 billion rural high-speed internet plan gets stuck in red tape. Not a single home connected 3 years after enactment. And this is as you're seeing photos, I think, Starlink, SpaceX sent up 20 more Starlink satellites just last night.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as it makes sense to me, I'll definitely be going with Starlink. Why can't we solve these problems in a cost-effective, common-sense way with the latest innovations? Why do we got to be stuck with the rest of this crony crap from Washington?
I think there are like utilities or telecom interests that are very invested in this, and like Elon Musk, his Starlink invention just lays waste to all that, right? That you don't need a wire-to-wire, house-to-house, or whatever you want to do it connection. You can find other ways to do it, but there's not as much profit to be made in that. That's my only guess.
Now, shifting gears here, I'm wondering, are y'all seeing the same outcry about crime? I know we've been talking about this in the weeks past, but I'm seeing here at 1819 News that the reward for information on the Montgomery triple homicide triple murder, it's now a $40,000 reward as the police continue to seek answers. Is this just a Montgomery problem, or do you think this is going to be something the state legislature addresses in the next session?
I saw that number, and $40,000. I mean, what if we had to apply that much of a price tag to a lot of other crimes? And we're just fraught with criminal activity. But like, at what point is it less about an enticement to get somebody to come forward, and just the law enforcement's ability to investigate it at a much lower cost, right? Like $40,000. Think about that. That now it's not like $1 million, Wild Wild West, wanted dead or alive. I know that there's a history of that in this country, but that just seems to me to be way, way more than we've ever seen. It's hard to fathom that.
Yeah, it really is a lot of money they're throwing out there. And I think folks are worried in particular that this has been a clear targeting of the Hispanic community. And that means if the police aren't going to stop this, other, say, unofficial enforcers will be coming here into town. And I just...
you think it's like a vigilante thing?
Or it's more a certain gang targeting certain businesses, and so another gang's going to have to come to town to... protect.
Well, things are a lot worse than I could have imagined, if that's true.
Eddie and I could say we're not just pulling this out of our backsides. We have some pretty good sources on this.
Multiple.
And that's what a lot of people are worried about. That we'll just be blunt. MS-13 is already in town and all throughout the country, all throughout Alabama. But the worst of it, the enforcers are not. And as soon as they see a power vacuum, not only are they going to take care of the problem, they're not going to leave. So I just think if we don't get the crime issue under control in Montgomery and across the state, you're essentially inviting in some awful elements. And with the southern border wide open, it's not difficult for these folks to get here.
I mean, what does that even look like if you have a gang war on the streets of Montgomery? We're not equipped for something like that. We don't have. I mean, we have these gang skirmishes from time to time in Mobile and Birmingham, and I assume Montgomery, Tuscaloosa, places like that. But like these are the big boys, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and it makes me wonder what sort of moves the state legislature is going to make. I know I've talked to Reed Ingram. I'm interested in having Will Barfoot on. I think more bills are forthcoming. But I know you recently had the chance to talk to Speaker Ledbetter.
Yeah, he doesn't think it's a bad idea at all. Now, there's a lot of pushback against lawmakers on this one. And I'm going to tell you, there's just not every city in Alabama is Montgomery. Not every county is Montgomery County. And there are places that feel like they're doing it right, don't want this sort of Damocles hanging over them, right? They don't want the threat of Big Brother state government coming and tapping them on the shoulder and tell them how to conduct their affairs. There's a lot of skepticism about what's being tried here.
Yeah, and I know Reed Ingram is, I think, about to pre-file another bill that's giving state support when it comes to juvenile offenders, and some also accountability for guardians if juveniles are recommitting. I haven't seen the exact language, but I think that's coming. And it's getting to the point where I think it's beyond just your city councils. Now, I asked the mayor here, Stephen Reed, and of course he was not a fan of it, and I'd imagine every mayor in the state is going to say hell no to this.
Well, Joey, think about this. In the 1950s, when Phoenix City and the Dixie Mafia got a little carried away and decided to assassinate what was going to be the next Attorney General in Alabama, Albert Patterson, they declared martial law, brought in the National Guard, cleaned it up. And, Phoenix City hasn't been a model of, public safety since, but much better than it was in the time between the end of the Civil War and the 1950s. Would they ever do that? Would the governor ever mobilize the National Guard if you have a gang war going on in the streets of Montgomery?
If it gets that bad, it might be people. It doesn't show up as like a war. It shows up more as like 2 dead last night, 2 dead the next day, 3 dead the next day.
I'm just saying, just the threat of it,
right?
And the way people way people react to things, like, why the hell aren't you doing something? and that mayor you got in Montgomery's not getting it done. You need to act. And I think that's why you see Barfoot and Ingram being so proactive here.
Right, and of course, this is going to take a lot of convincing of everybody else there in the legislature. I think Barfoot and Ingram and others are doing their due diligence, bringing in every official from the AG to the governor's office, to the lieutenant governor's office, trying to make sure they get this right. And we got plenty of months. I think I have it on pretty good authority. A special session is not going to be called on this issue. But I think it might be coming, especially if you're saying Ledbetter seems open to the idea in the House side, at least.
Yeah, but the one thing I would just say, I mean, would the governor go along with it? Is she aware, or does it really touch the governor's office? You need that. But in addition to that, like, hey, I don't care what happens in Montgomery. My folks in Coleman are happy with how things are. Don't go messing around here. There's going to be an impediment that you're going to have to overcome.
Absolutely. Again, folks, we're talking to Jeff Poor. So are you going to make the trek over to see this softball charity game we were talking about yesterday?
I think so. Me and the 3-year-old are going to make the trek up to Jackson just to kind of, I don't know. I haven't had a reason to go to Jackson, Mississippi in probably 20 years, and now I have one, so here's an opportunity to go.
Yeah, and it does. Seeing Tate Reeves, the governor there, I'm like, man, he reminds me of like half the guys I remember in college. Like he looks the part, and maybe that's just seeing somebody young in the office. But Mississippi, as much as there's a rivalry there, they ain't that different than us, in my humble opinion.
They do have sort of different things. I mean, they have gambling there, and they have different. Like we have our big mules, and they have different big mules, if that makes sense. The demographics are roughly the same, and the cultures are very, very similar. There's a lot of similarities. They have better roads in Mississippi than they do in Alabama. I'll give them that. But you know what they do in Mississippi, Joey? They elect 3 highway commissioners. One for the South, one for the Middle, and one for the North. And there's a political accountability mechanism. It's all not left up to the governor to kind of decide at her, what she will make a priority, that there is some buy-in from the public.
Oh, that's fascinating. Yeah, each state's systems are it's interesting to break down the differences. Kind of run out of time here, but after you, in just about 10 minutes, I believe Secretary of State here for Alabama, Wes Allen, will be calling in. What do you make of his recent headlines he's making, saying Biden trying to win election by attempting to legitimize illegal immigrants and sort of these voter registrations being pushed out to non-citizens?
I think he's right. I mean, I'm glad somebody like Secretary Allen is like saying it. It's just kind of refreshing. He hasn't been like Merrill was, like on TV or on the radio all the time and at every event. But when it's mattered, and I think this matters, just kind of this permeates a little bit better, because you're like, wow, so he must know something we don't.
Well, I look forward to talking to him, and you're right. He picks his spots, but I think Secretary Allen picks them well. And I always appreciate your time, Jeff. If folks want to check out what you're writing about, thinking about, talking about, how can they do so?
It's twitter.com/Jeff_Poor. Just about everything you need there.
All right. Thank you, sir. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks again, Joey.
Always enjoyed chatting it up there with Jeff Poor, editor-in-chief at 1819 News. Yeah, the crime issue is not going away. No. And the conversations will continue. I believe next week we will have the district attorney here from Montgomery County, Darrell Bailey.
Excellent.
Look forward to talking to him next Wednesday. And yes, on all sorts of other issues. It's not just the crime issue. We've got Secretary of State Wes Allen calling in here soon. Erica Thomas will be joining the show in the 1 o'clock hour. And I believe Caroline Dobson will be joining us.
Excellent.
2 o'clock, the brand new Congressional District 2. Somebody told me Shamari Figures is on vacation, and I'm like, well, it's still early. So
yeah.
Because the last time we talked to Caroline, she just got off vacation.
Right, just got back, yeah.
'Tis the time to take one.
Yes. Speaking of which, I'm leaving here in about 5 minutes. Going on vacation. It sounds like such a good idea. I think we should take it.
Wait, where are you going?
Wherever the airport will let me go. So
wherever.
From here to Atlanta, obviously, and then the world's my oyster.
Albuquerque?
I've been to Albuquerque. Skip it.
Yeah, I've never been to Albuquerque.
Skip it.
I just know the Weird Al song.
Right. Well, also Bugs Bunny should have took a left at Albuquerque.
Ah, yeah.
No, I'd like to go somewhere Caribbean where the drinks are bottomless.
Oh.
And the girls are glad you're there.
Glad you're there.
Glad you're there.
Yeah, it's like, wait, am I, did I just get like better looking, or are these whores around me?
Or do these girls work for tips?
Oh, you're right. I took it to the extreme.
Of course you did, Joey.
But it's a real thing. I've traveled.
Yeah.
Yeah. If some like overly overdone, like woman comes up to you at a bar at some, especially a hotel, like in a big city.
Okay.
Yeah, you should be skeptical.
Is that right?
Yeah. If women don't normally approach you,
and suddenly one does.
Yeah.
It's not your cologne.
Yeah, you need to be keep your wits about you, gentlemen.
That's why you keep your money in your sock, Joey.
That's why I don't want to go to Vegas.
Oh, dude, in Vegas, it's so common that pretty soon you're just sitting there having a conversation.
Yeah,
It's
I
hysterical.
watched the brand new Kill Tony last night, and Cam Patterson's joke was about he was about to do that in Vegas, like buy some.
Yeah.
And he was about to do it, and he thought he'd never do that. But he was about to, and he walked outside, and it was 6 a.m. He's like, I ain't doing that in the morning.
24 hours there, Joey.
Oh, goodness gracious. But it's just, so not Albuquerque, Jamaica, maybe?
Yeah, I'd love to go back to
Jamaica's
in fact,
a good
I gotta
spot.
get it going, yeah. I got this Trump Bible I got to get delivered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You still happy you purchased that?
Oh, very much so. I was actually, I know this is wrong to think, but I was hoping they'd go on sale and I'd pick up another one, but don't look like that's going to happen.
Right. Well, I just wanted a brief break from all the news and politics just to help Eddie out here, because I'm worried about you, man.
That's all good. Life just kicks you in the teeth sometimes, multiple times a week.
It does. It's also, what's cool is we're getting new sponsors.
Really?
Yeah. Clearwater's Property Management.
Well, of course, for them. And,
Great guys there.
In fact, I recommended them to my neighbor the other day who's got to get some stump grinding done. He had trees taken out, been about a year now, but he wanted the stumps for whatever reason. Maybe he couldn't get along with the tree guy, but he wanted the stumps to wait, and now he's getting somebody to come out and grind them up. I think he's got 5 or 6 of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Reed Waters there at Clearwater's Property Management can help you with that, with stump grinding. It really is an eyesore on the lawn.
Yes,
even a backyard. I lived at one place I was renting.
Yeah.
And I would mow myself, and it's like every time going around that thing, I'm like, this just needs to be
fire
out of here.
ants, you get bugs, invites termites, the whole 9 yards.
Of course, they can also, there at Clearwater's Property Management, do tree trimming. So maybe you've got some limbs that are starting to overhang the house. Could be you live in a neighborhood that has the electrical, like wires up top on the telephone
or you
pole.
have a strict HOA.
Yeah. Or it could be you just need to remove a tree. Especially if you're noticing that tree is very old, very tall, and it tends to sway very, 8 to 10 feet.
One way or the other.
In the wind. Yeah, you might at a certain point want to pull that trigger, because if not, you might be calling Clearwater's Property Management after that tree falls on your house.
Right.
But they can help you with that too. So y'all check them out today. 430-0376 is their number. That's 430-0376. And be sure to tell Reed and the team there at Clearwater's Property Management that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Summers are fun, so how do you make this summer really stand out? You drive into summer in a new Toyota from Toyota of Montgomery. Make it the most memorable and the most fun summer ever with exceptional offers on the 2024 Toyota Corolla. Now just $207 a month. Or the hot-selling new 2024 Camry, only $285 a month. And the fun for everyone new RAV4, just $315 a month. You don't have to drive in your old car anymore. Toyota of Montgomery is paying up to $5,000 overbook value for your trade-in, so you can have the most exciting summer you've ever had. These hot deals on new Toyotas won't last. Drive with the best at Sutherland Automotive. Everybody wins. So get to Toyota of Montgomery today. Online at toyotamontgomery.com. Part of the Sutherland Automotive Group.
Corolla LE TSRP 2023. Camry LE TSRP 30,703. RAV4 LE 31,373. 12,000 miles per year for 36 month lease with $499 due at signing. $0 security deposit with approved credit. Excessive wear, tear, and mileage will affect trade value plus tax, tag, title, and $995 with approved credit and 7/1/2024.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group. Selling a home in the river region in this market takes some planning and preparation to be successful. Here are some steps to take to get your home sold fast. Remember the 5 P's. Prepare the home. Fresh coat of paint inside and out and complete any repairs needed. Professionally clean the home. A deep cleaning of floors, cabinets, windows, and blinds will leave a great impression for future buyers. Provide a home warranty for the buyer to give the buyer peace of mind after the closing. Provide a closing cost allowance for the buyer to help them be able to afford your home. Price your home to sell, not sit. A comparative market analysis from a local realtor will demonstrate what other properties have sold for in your neighborhood. Well-priced homes sell faster with less hassle. Houses are selling fast and sellers are getting top dollar. For all the answers, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group, 221-2883 or 551-0225.
Hi there, I'm Madeline Cannon with Alabama Home Mortgage. Getting pre-approved is the first step towards home ownership. People are often scared or nervous about taking that first step, but I'll tell you, it's nothing to be scared of. At Alabama Home Mortgage, we will take the first step and every step along the way with you. Call us at 567-4223. We will gather the information needed to tell you exactly what you qualify for. After a call to Alabama Home Mortgage, you will know what price point to shop for, what down payment is required, if any, and what your monthly mortgage payment will look like. We take all the guessing out of it. Then, when you find the house you want to make your home, you are ready to make an offer. Along with your offer, you will submit your Alabama Home Mortgage pre-approval letter. This shows sellers that you've already taken the steps necessary to ensure that you qualify to purchase their home. Wait no longer. It's time to take that first step together. Call me at 567-4223 or start the process online at myalabamahomemortgage.com.
That's Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
It is the final day of spring officially, with summer starting tomorrow afternoon at 3:51 p.m., the summer solstice. But, of course, the summer pattern has been with us for weeks. Today's high temperature in the lower 90s. And not too bad on the humidity today, a little lower. It'll be breezy with a sun and cloud mix. And again, today, tomorrow, and Friday, radar will be quiet with the rain chance 10% or less. Tonight's low 72, up to 92 Thursday, 94 Friday. A little hotter over the weekend with the risk of some scattered showers and thunderstorms returning, but probably not many until Monday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
We're redesigning financial freedom at CB&S Bank. Make purchases at participating stores and restaurants using your CB&S Bank debit card through your mobile devices with Mobile Wallet. Charges and fees may apply for your cellular service provider. Contact your service provider for more information. Member FDIC.
The premier place the River Region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to the program. Now, as promised, we have the Secretary of State for the great state of Alabama, Wes Allen, on the line. Secretary Allen, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Joey. Thanks so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you for being on the show, and thank you for putting out the word of what the Biden administration is up to. 2 executive orders you've been zeroing in on. So let's start with the first about voter registration that you noticed. What is going on here? What is Biden up to?
So back in March of 2021, he issued an executive order that, in a nutshell, weaponizes and mobilizes the entire federal government apparatus, all federal agencies, to become voter registration agencies. And, I don't think that's the place of the federal government. I think voter registration is left to the states. And so I and my Republican colleagues from around the country have been trying to bring light to this issue, trying to fight it as much as we possibly can, trying to alert everyone that this is not the place of the federal government. They're just basically trying to be an arm extension of the Democratic Party. And you've got that in place. And then so the other day, Joey, or not the other day, last month or so, I received a complaint from an Alabama resident that their dead relative received a voter registration form in the mail. And as you know, that sent off alarm bells in my head. And because we want the cleanest, most accurate voter files in the country, because that's where election integrity starts and begins, is with voter file maintenance. And so we got to asking a bunch of questions, and it led us down a rabbit hole. And here's what we found out. And when you couple what I'm about to tell you with what Biden's EO is attempting to do with the entire federal government, anytime anyone, any person comes in contact or has any kind of transaction with two state agencies in particular, because they are under the National Voter Registration Act of 1993, it's a federal law, they are required to send out voter registration forms to anyone that comes in contact with them. And so that means that whether or not they receive the entitlement or receive the benefits or not, they're receiving voter registration forms, and that means legal non-citizens if they come in contact, and if illegal aliens happen to have a transaction or happen to try to get benefits through Medicaid, they're mandated per the National Voter Registration Act of 1993 to send those out. That's why we've got to reform the NVRA. Senator Katie Britt and Representative Gary Palmer have a piece of legislation now that will address that, reform that, allow us to verify citizenship at the state level and give us better tools to do that. It's the Citizenship Ballot Protection Act, and we've got to elect Trump. We've got to have a GOP Senate, and we've got to have a GOP House to get that thing done. And what we found is appalling, and we are using, and let me just tell your listeners, Joey, thank you for letting me say this and to go on about it, is that we are using every tool, legal tool that we have in the Secretary's office. We wake up every day, go to work to secure our elections using every possible tool we have within the Constitution and within the laws of this state. The Biden administration is radical and lawless, and that's about as simple as I can put it.
Well, and it brings up a whole host of questions just that you would have to worry about. You know better than I. Like, how many folks, get this in the mail for a dead relative and they don't say contact you and they don't just throw it out? Yeah. And then my big question is, say a registration form is sent to an illegal immigrant, somebody who's here and they are not a citizen, and they fill it out and they get on the voter rolls. Is there a way for you or anybody else in a position similar to yourself in other states to know that's not a citizen?
Well, when I testified before the United States Rules Committee, Senator Britt's committee back in March, she asked me, and Senator Haggerty from Tennessee talked about citizenship, and Senator Britt asked, what tools do we have to verify citizenship? And really, we don't have much tools at all to verify citizenship. We are depending on that person's word for them to be honest when they check that box, asking them, are you a citizen? And so we're depending on those folks that are illegal, that have already broken our laws by entering the country illegally, to be honest. And we need tools to verify citizenship. We are under a United States Supreme Court opinion right now out of Arizona, 2013, that does not allow us to have the tools that we need to verify citizenship. And that's why the Republicans have got to get the White House, Senate, and the House to put these reforms forward to give us the tools to verify citizenship.
Well, and you mentioned these, it's required if anybody's touching one of these federal agencies that they send out these forms. Is that especially triggered if, say, Joe Biden does this latest executive order that gives mass amnesty, I believe, in particular to spouses? That means, like, they're essentially, those 500,000 people are being touched by the federal government. I'd imagine they're getting these forms.
Sure. And, the spouses of these citizens have a path now to citizenship, but Biden is removing all of that vetting. And you said it right. It's mass amnesty for up to 500,000, and he's not going to stop there. There's going to be another step. He's making a mockery of law and order, and he's trying and doing everything that he can to fast-track these illegals to become citizens so they can vote, and it's clear manipulation of the process. And it's, the people of Alabama, here's what I know, they're mad. They're ready to go vote. We need to send a message in November as far as we are in Alabama and let them know that we are mad and we want to be able to have these reforms where we can verify citizenship. It is common sense. Common sense. Only American citizens should be voting in Alabama. They should not even have access to the voter registration forms.
Now, again, folks, we're talking to Secretary of State here for the great state of Alabama, Wes Allen. You just answered in part my next question. Of course, folks need to get out there and to change these laws, you need majorities in the Congress, you need the presidency. But there are other things that everyday Alabamians can do that helps you do your job well.
Sure. If they know someone that has moved to Alabama and they are not registered to vote, if you're going to church and you have a new member come into church and they're moving from out of town, even from one Alabama county to another Alabama county, or moving from out of state, direct them to alabamavotes.gov. And there they have to put in and enter their driver's license or social security number. And then that system that we have set up on your smartphone is pinging off of Aaliyah and making sure that we have a vetting process in place to make sure illegals are not getting registered to vote through our online portal. So that's one way to do that. But make sure you're registered to vote. Check your voter registration status. If you've moved, if any listeners out there have moved, update your voter registration status online at alabamavotes.gov, and then go vote November the 5th. And as far as I'm concerned, vote a straight ticket and send a message. And let's reform these laws that are loopholes. And we need to further fortify these elections to make sure only American citizens are voting in our elections.
And I'd also imagine if there's any suspicious things sent to people, like, oh, we'll help you fill out your ballot, or we'll do this for you, or I know these things exist and they look official, but if folks get wise to that, I'd imagine you want to be, and your office needs to be told about it.
Absolutely. There's a portal on our website for any complaints. We receive those, we evaluate them, and if need be, we forward those on to the AG and or to the Ethics Commission. We do not have investigative powers or prosecutorial powers under law in our office, but we work very closely, hand in hand, with the Ethics Commission and also with the AG's office. And if anybody sees anything, suspects anything, has a complaint about voter fraud, suspects something fishy is going on, please go to our website, alabamavotes.gov, or at sos.alabama.gov, to our official website, and submit that complaint to us, and we'll get right on it.
Well, Wes, Secretary Allen, I always appreciate your time here on these airwaves, and I appreciate you getting the word out there at the national level into a lot of folks. What you found is disturbing, for lack of a better word, and we'll see if we can tighten this up. It raises the stakes of November. There are a lot of reasons the stakes are high, but this is just another reason here.
Absolutely. Thank you, Joey. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Again, Secretary of State for the great state of Alabama, Wes Allen. Well, damn. To quote Jack Campbell. Wow.
I guess it's not surprising, but very disappointing. I even had somebody put on Facebook, it's shameful. And it is. It's shameful.
No, and it seems, I asked the same question Senator Brett asked Wes Allen. And that's immediately where my mind went. People go, oh, there's no way illegals are voting in American elections. Like, I had known for a while, and I wasn't actually even completely all that like, oh no, like local elections there people were voting in. But if all your using to verify citizenship as somebody checking a box. Like, you do it all the time when we fill out forms.
Yeah.
And you check it, and I'm an American citizen, born that way. I don't even really think of it. It's like, that's just true. And they have sometimes I'll have the language like, if you lie on this, it's a very, very bad thing. We'll come after you. But how do you know?
You remember they used to have that on the VCR tapes, Joey? FBI.
Yeah.
The mattress tags.
Well, and now the FBI is apparently coming after all sorts of folks. So if you're erasing like liberal tapes, they might have come after you. Yeah. I think this FBI under this DOJ might pull some old cases of you've been manipulating VHS tapes.
You did not rewind. You were not kind.
Mm-hmm.
Just sad, man.
I need to return that Blockbuster video I kept all these
There
years
might
as
be
a
one
memento.
open in the United States still that can help you.
No, I had a few of those, like, oh, crap, or Redbox, too, like
Redbox.
ones you forgot to return, and I know that's built into their business
It was
model.
even easier with a disc because it would slide between the
Oh, yeah.
seat and
You
I
just,
must have
or you
returned it.
forget about it. Yeah. Like, such a crap movie, you forget you even watched it.
Just paid $70 for this crappy movie.
But, wow. Yeah, and I don't know what you do other than
What
you
do
change the
do?
law.
Okay, we change the law, but let's say that, an illegal alien checks the box, votes, gets caught. What's his real punishment? I don't know either. And it's ridiculous that we don't know. We should be able to go, aha, to this is going to happen and this will happen. But we don't even know. So there's no discouragement from doing it.
Yeah, and it just, especially when part of the message these days coming out of the official circles in Washington is nobody's above the law. Bull.
Right.
Bull. I'll leave it there. It's bull.
There's no doubt about that.
Y'all are breaking all sorts of laws and making it up as you go, whether domestically or in the international field. And everybody with a brain and eyes who isn't on the take or isn't part of the team, even emotionally, knows it and can see it.
Yeah.
What a mess. Absolute mess this nation is in. And I think, yeah, get out there and make your voice heard in November. But I suspect it's what I've been telling people now for months, if not a year or two, is to solve the problems we have in this nation, it's not just going to be politics.
No, it's not.
It's something about the soul. It's something about the heart.
Definitely. Got to be a change of heart. A huge change of heart.
272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by River Region Contracting. And their River Region Contracting, Todd Clark and his team are ready to help you with that roof of yours.
Yes, they are, Joey.
And, they can help you with an asphalt roof or a metal roof. They each can have their own unique problems. Should be inspected every 3 to 5 years for preventative maintenance. But Eddie and I have been suggesting, every year?
At least. Here in Alabama, the kind of extreme weathers we get from one end to the other. Yeah.
Right. Or maybe you heard a bump in the middle of the night after a storm and you're not definitely seeing a leak inside and you're too fat to climb up on the roof, or you shouldn't be climbing up on the roof. So why not get some true pros there at River Region Contracting to help you out?
Dude, they've checked out several of my personal properties, but whenever we're going to put a property on the market, if anybody mentions any kind of roof problem, I instantly put their name out there. They've helped so many of our clients. It's been great. They put 2 roofs on just on Pam's house.
Yeah.
Her lake house and her here in town. She loves them. So, good people.
They are good folks. And so whether it's an asphalt or a metal roof, call up River Region Contracting today. Free inspections, free estimates, and their insurance specialists that walk you through that claims process, make it swift, easy, even pleasurable, which is an odd thing to think about an insurance claim, but they're just that good there at River Region Contracting. There's a reason folks are calling them the premier roofing contractor here in the area. That number, 356-8635. That's 356-8635. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you. But I really do appreciate Secretary Allen.
Me too.
For pointing
laid
this
out some education on us there, buddy.
Yeah, because it's one of those things you suspect, and you hear it from Bob's blog.
Mm-hmm.
There's still people on Blogspot. Or you hear it from some absolute, partisan activist.
Of course.
But when it's a Secretary of State, and it's not just him, I'm sure there are a lot of folks around the country that he works with, say other secretaries of state around the nation, senators, all sorts of folks who are seeing this. What a shame.
Well, I mean, what can you expect
Because
to happen?
it's a common theme these days. These things are sacred while we pee all over it.
Yes.
Democracy's sacred.
It ain't just
Your
democracy.
vote's
You're
sacred.
exactly right. You're exactly right.
While we use every manipulative tool of law and propaganda to tear down those sacred things that we claim are so sacred. It's just, wow. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. That's 334-272-9228. We'll be right back, folks.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Make 2024 the year you break away from the chain stores and join us here at Adams Drugs. We value your business and want to provide you the best customer service at the lowest possible price. We've been serving up excellent customer service here in the River region for over 62 years.
I made the swap to Adams Drugs and I couldn't be happier. Having a job and then getting 3 kids to all of their activities keeps me busy. I don't have an hour to waste waiting on a prescription. At Adams, they know me and my family. I get in and out in minutes, and when I can't get by Adams, they'll bring the prescription right to my door.
What are you waiting for? Come in to Adams Drugs and let us earn your business. Our friendly and personal staff will talk with you and answer any questions you may have about your prescriptions. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for the location nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local independent Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
The Tierce family has been your local Roto-Rooter service since 1964. Drain cleaning, plumbing repair, and those troublesome septic tanks, no problem. Technology has changed a bit in the last 54 years. Video inspections of lines to locate problems is available, as well as scheduling your appointment online. River Region residents have trusted Roto-Rooter for over half a century. You can too. Call today at 272-7130 or visit online at rotorooteralabama.com.
Call Roto-Rooter, that's the name, and lethal troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
Hey there, this is Hannah Grantham with Forest Meadows Homes and Land. And since my partner Eddie Bader and I started advertising with Blue Water Broadcasting, we've seen the results from it daily. Blue Water Broadcasting has become a second family, and I recommend them to anyone looking to advertise their business.
Radio works. It's as simple as that. Call us to find out how radio can work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Right now, get the hottest offers on the hottest luxury vehicles. Drive into summer with 1.9% APR financing on new Lexus models. Or drive the new Lexus IS300, only $369 a month. Or the 2024 ES350, now just $499 a month. Drive with the best at Sutherland Automotive. Everybody wins. Get the lowest Lexus payments now at Lexus of Montgomery, part of the Sutherland Automotive Group.
Number 5130706 or C036027. 5,000 miles per year, 36 months with 3,999 due in signing. With approved credit, expires 6/30/24, plus tax and fees.
Trustworthy, accurate, immediate. Carrying your voice across the River region. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. It's News and Views in the afternoon. Or as we're calling this thing online, Joey Clark Live. You can always watch on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Twitter X, at The Joey Clark on Twitter X, or Joey Clark Live on YouTube, or just search my name on Facebook. I will, as I've been saying constantly, Facebook sucks.
Ah, Joey, how can you say such a thing? That's so true.
Like, it's all it's good for is stupid memes now.
Even them, Joey,
like, even when I'm trying to put out like local concerning news, like I cut the mayor's interview and put it on Facebook, nobody saw it. Like, a few people asked me to do it, and they're like, I haven't seen it yet. I had to send it to them personally.
I actually, Suzanne and I both saw someone had posted, a regular citizen had posted it. I think it was in the
I'm not
Better
part
Montgomery
of that
group or
I'm
something
not part
like
of that
Yeah.
group. Okay,
yeah,
so that's good. I'm glad somebody
really
posted
impressed.
it in
Somebody
a group.
posted it, and you're right, in that group, outside of us.
It's just Facebook. I don't know what I'd do if I see Zuckerberg.
It's boomer book, really, is it not, Joey?
Well, what do you think this show is? Speaking of that, let's go to James. Hey, James.
Oh, so, well, at least you got me lumped in with the right group, Joey. And I appreciate that, man. From 46 to 64, although some of the tail end of the baby boomers, they claim something else. But I don't know why. I don't know why you would claim anything but baby boomer.
Agree.
I could give you reasons, but let's keep going.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. You just know how easily distracted I am, right, Joey?
Sure.
You realize I'm taking a break from mopping and scrubbing, okay?
Oh.
But you have enlightened us that possibly, or certainly, illegals are out there voting.
Yes.
Yeah.
On top of being illegal in this country, they are voting illegally. And that's assuming that our government is not in favor of them voting illegally.
Not so sure.
I'm talking in circles, but here's what we have as Christian people, Joey. We have two weapons. We have the sword of the Spirit, and we have prayer. Those are our weapons. Joey, have you read Habakkuk lately?
No.
If I'm not mistaken, Habakkuk is where we are right now. We're wondering why it is that those evildoers, and I should be careful here when I'm speaking of evildoers because I might be lumping myself into that crowd, but we're wondering why evildoers are flourishing, getting away with what they're doing. And in Habakkuk, if I'm not mistaken now, Habakkuk is one of the so-called minor prophets in the Old Testament, which there are a bunch of them toward the end of the Old Testament, as it is wrapped up in the order that is presented to us in God's Word. Okay? And we know that the Bible is not put together chronologically.
Right.
However, in Habakkuk, all things unfold according to God's plan. But then there are those two weapons that we have, the sword of the Spirit and prayer. So prayer is our tool, if you will, to ask for some intervention, for some help.
You can even phrase it as a complaint. Yeah.
And yes, we're back to Habakkuk.
Yep.
See, Joey, there's so much that you and I can see eye to eye on, even though you're not over 40.
Yeah, I know. I mean, but let's not ruin a good thing. It's going good so far. Don't go back there.
Okay. Have we got time, Joey? I will continue.
Yeah.
All right. The 7th of June. We drove to Highlands, North Carolina, then to Cashiers. We're on our way up there. I crossed paths with this gentleman. Won't call his name. But he was part of a group of people that were associated with a former Florida governor. I'm starting to ring a bell, Joey?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Wasn't our once upon a time young lady that was there on this same network, radio station, same dial position, wasn't she part of a former Florida governor's...
Yeah, Jeb Bush.
Yes. I mentioned her to this man, and it seemed as though he had a recollection of her. I asked the cat, I said, "What are you doing up here? Not in hiding, are you?" And, well, maybe I've said too much already, Joey.
When you start whispering into the phone, that's when I know I need to hang up. Appreciate it, James.
Ta-ta.
272-9228. You okay?
Good.
You got people that are in your corner, by the way, in the comments section.
It's all good.
Romex Angler says, "Cheer up, Eddie. Billionaires should be happy and smiling."
I would love to dispel that rumor.
That you're a billionaire? How are you going to dispel it when it's true?
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe one day when you guys see me on Carmichael Road, you realize, and I'm shaking a can, you'll realize, oh, I guess he wasn't such a billionaire.
Did you say maybe one gay?
No, maybe
one day. I heard the other thing.
Dude, get that out of your mind. I don't swing that way. We've already talked about that.
I saw that photo of you in the 80s.
It was the 80s. Big hair was in.
With the good hair.
Big hair was in.
No, it reminds me of the Charlie Murphy True Hollywood Stories. And that Mickey Free.
Andrew McCarthy. I think I was having one of those moments where I thought I was that guy or something. I don't know. I got really no excuse. It was the 80s, man.
Mark Cumby saying everything is going to be okay, Eddie.
Yes, it will be, Mark. Love you, brother.
And then somebody talking about grilling sardines. I hope that's not a euphemism for anything.
Oof.
Yeah, because they're all right by themselves.
I can do one or two. Maybe if we're hunting, I can do a little more, if the mood is right. But what about anchovies on pizza?
Last time I tried it, I hated it.
Yeah. I can do again a little.
Like I tend to like I like fish and salty stuff, but it's
so salt.
Yeah, for some reason the last time I tried it, it just did not work. Yeah. I think they can be good on pizza, but sparingly.
Yeah, not
it needs to be if you throw.
pieces.
It's like how you use capers on things.
Exactly.
Like it needs to be a light touch because it goes a long way.
Yes, it does.
Or like truffle oil, just a drop. Don't be
I'm a
slathering
billionaire
stuff
who
in
doesn't
oil.
know about truffle oil. Apparently, that's why I'm shamed from the.
Wait, you don't know about truffle oil?
I know of it, but I don't think I've.
You know about duck fat?
I've heard of it.
You know about beef tallow?
I've heard of it, but I never.
Lard?
No, I know a little something about lard. I know a little something about that.
And on that note, this part of the program brought to you by, All Pro Heating, Air, and Electrical. And they're at All Pro Heating, Air, and Electrical. Well, it's in the name. They can help you with that HVAC system.
Yeah, man.
If you haven't gotten a tune-up, you should have already done it.
If not, you're going to be 4th of July when it quits. That's just my kind of luck.
I remember when I had to go and borrow a window unit from you.
That's right.
Because it was 2 weeks of hell.
Yeah.
In the middle of the Alabama summer. You do not want to be playing with
miserable.
that fire, folks.
It's miserable. And right now we're in the peak of summer. I think tomorrow's the first day of summer. But today's 95.
And as we say with a lot of our sponsors, if you find a problem early, like you get the tune-up, that's probably going to be a lot less expensive than once it just craps out and you have no AC whatsoever.
Right.
And again, All Pro Heating, Air, and Electrical can help you there. But of course, they can also help you set up, say, a Generac generator.
Right.
Or any sort of electrical work that you need done. All Pro is the place to go. Really great folks there, based out of Tallahassee, serving the river region and the surrounding areas. Let them be your one-stop shop for all HVAC and electrical needs. You can always go to their website, allproheatingair.com. That's allproheatingair.com. Or just call them, 301-1961. That's 301-1961. And be sure to tell All Pro Heating, Air, and Electrical that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you. Second hour coming up.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Tropical storm Alberto forming in the southwestern Gulf of Mexico. It's the first named storm of what is forecast to be a busy hurricane season. The National Hurricane Center says Alberto was located 185 miles east of Tampico, Mexico, with top sustained winds of 40 miles per hour. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration predicting the hurricane season from June 1st to November 30th likely to be well above average with between 17 and 25 named storms. Russian President Vladimir Putin and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un have signed a new partnership that includes a vow of mutual aid if either country faces aggression. A bulk carrier has sunk in the Red Sea days after an attack by Yemen's Houthi rebels were believed to have killed one mariner on board. This is SRN News.
Government debt is now exploding by an unprecedented $1 trillion every 90 days. Think of that. It's a clear sign that our nation's finances are spinning out of control, and it's putting the savings of every one of you at risk. Hello, I'm Lance Wallnow, a news analyst and best-selling author and an evangelical leader. I'm deeply concerned about the impact this runaway debt is going to have on Christians like you who have worked hard to build your own nest egg for your family. To protect your financial future in these uncertain times, you need to diversify with something tangible and proven, like physical gold. That's why I recommend a gold IRA. To learn more, text FAITH to the number 989898, and my friends at Birch Gold Group will rush you a free info kit on how to move your IRA or 401k to physical precious metals, tax and penalty free. So don't wait. Just text the word FAITH to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold Group is the only company I trust. There's no obligation. So text FAITH to 989898, and I pray this information helps you achieve prosperity and peace of mind.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Truckers, if you are looking for green grass, contact Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. In business since 1959 and still growing. Call today, 855-777-9785.
It is the final day of spring officially, with summer starting tomorrow afternoon at 3:51 p.m., the summer solstice. But, of course, the summer pattern has been with us for weeks. Today's high temperature in the lower 90s. And not too bad on the humidity today, a little lower. It'll be breezy with a sun and cloud mix. And again, today, tomorrow, and Friday, radar will be quiet with the rain chances 10% or less. Tonight's low 72, up to 92 Thursday, 94 Friday. A little hotter over the weekend with the risk of some scattered showers and thunderstorms returning, but probably not many until Monday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. Montgomery police have opened a homicide investigation after a man was found shot to death late Monday night. Police responded to the 1000 block of Eastern Boulevard near Monticello Drive just before midnight, where 27-year-old Darius Gunn was pronounced dead on the scene. This is Montgomery's 33rd homicide of the year. The Montgomery City Council met Tuesday, and once again, crime was the main topic as violence continued throughout the city. Mayor Stephen Reed was in attendance but did not give an update on the search for a new police chief. However, the mayor did say a partnership targeting crime is in the works. Baseball legend and Alabama native Willie Mays has died. Born in Westfield, Alabama, the electrifying Say Hey Kid was one of baseball's greatest and most beloved players. Willie Mays passed away peacefully Tuesday afternoon in the Bay Area of San Francisco. He was 93 years old. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
The Health and Wealth Show. The Health and Wealth Show. The show so nice, we said it twice. Weekday evenings at 6 on News Talk 93.1 WACV. The Health.
Break it up, son. Joke's over, hey?
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Hey, mister, I don't mean to be telling tales out of school, but there's a feller in there who'll pay you $10 if you sing into his can. I'm not here to make a record, you dumb cracker. They broadcast me out on the radio.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program. I'm Joey. Eddie Bader, my trusty co-host, is here.
What's up, Joe?
You feeling any better?
Yeah, it's always feel a little better. Nobody can reach me in here.
Right, exactly.
Bad news has to stay away.
I mean, one of
except
these
for the
days.
news.
One of these days. No, we're lucky we get to do this, man.
Yeah, okay.
What do you mean, okay?
Okay. It comes with pluses, minuses.
No, we're lucky we get to do this.
We're lucky we live in a world where we have free speech. They
That's
haven't
true.
taken that away yet.
Because we can cover the serious topics like
Right.
we just did with Secretary Allen.
Mm-hmm.
We can cover the serious topics like we just did with Jeff Poor, like
Right.
about crime. We got some serious topics coming up with Erica Thomas and with Caroline Dobson in the 2 o'clock hour.
That's right.
But because of freedom of speech and also the thing called the internet exists,
the interwebs.
We got to do a thing here.
Okay, what we got?
Apparently, somebody found a lesbian on TikTok who's not political. She's just a lesbian and likes cultural stuff, like funny stuff.
She drives a Subaru?
Maybe, I don't know. And people started pointing out to her that you look just like Tucker Carlson.
Okay, I'm familiar with that picture.
Well, I've got the video here.
Let's play it, baby. This is pretty good.
Like, and do you think it's true that she looks like Tucker Carlson?
Yes, because I saw the picture before I read the article, and I went, what happened to Tucker?
She looks like a 15-year-old Tucker Carlson. Seriously, like a teenage boy Tucker Carlson. So here's the video you can watch online at Joey Clark Live on YouTube or at the Joey Clark on X. Let's listen in.
All right.
Being a well-established gay, I never imagined myself on the side of TikTok that thinks I look like Tucker Carlson, but here we are. And I gotta be honest, I know of this man, but I could not pick him out of a lineup. So
yes, you
I'm gonna
could.
Google him, and we're gonna see if you guys are onto something or not.
They are.
Oh, I spelled his name wrong. Carlson. What?
How about that?
She's not buying it.
This man?
Yeah.
Is it the twinning forehead wrinkles? Oh, wait, is it the teeth? I can see it in the teeth a little bit, but that...
No, lady, it's the
It's
face
the whole
shape,
thing,
it's the
man.
eyes, it's your hair.
Yeah.
Her hair
A
is
lot of that
coiffed
hair.
just perfectly. I give her credit, just like Tucker's. And yet she's in denial.
That's really it?
Yeah, that's
I
it.
get Erica Hahn all the time, and that one I can see, but I don't know about this, y'all. I've learned
Obviously Southern, y'all.
Yeah.
two things today. Sometimes you're not always gonna get it, and also, I'm on Politic Talk, and I would like off of here.
Okay, I gotta like her already.
She looks a lot like Tucker Carlson.
Straight up.
I mean, it's just...
That's a doppelganger right there, folks.
Yep.
That's why that word was invented by the Germans.
No doubt.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt.
I mean, we've got a few other silly things,
What
right?
else we got? Let's go for some silly.
Well, I say that, but I got to look real quick because I just looked at the list and I'm like, well, Putin just visited North Korea and they signed a defense pact.
Yeah.
And they're sharing like missile technology and.
Do you think North Korea is really getting the top stuff from Russia? Or do you think they're getting some crap they found in an old warehouse?
They're not getting the tippy top, like the hypersonics.
Yeah.
But they're getting some, targeting information systems. Because essentially, hey, North Korea, with your slave
go hit that.
force, like with your slaves, make more stuff for us.
But the quality, so good.
No.
Not so
Well, maybe, Eddie. Seriously, this war's changed things. I know we're going to say silly, but the drone stuff, the point is it's not that sophisticated to make.
It's very easy to make. And with that technology, that facial recognition, I mean, that's something that really worries me.
Right.
Because it doesn't have to just be a military situation.
Well, we could do Trump here.
Right.
Because this is kind of serious and silly at the same time. I think Trump's magic.
But of course.
And he's talking about an issue that's kind of a deciding issue for me.
Yeah.
He's talking about cryptocurrency.
Humiliating us. You saw what happened this weekend. It's turning the United States into a total joke all over the world. First, he wandered off the G7 in Europe, the stage. He looked like he didn't know where the hell he was, but he didn't know where he was.
I got hairy legs.
He's blaming it now on AI. He's saying He doesn't know what AI is, but that's okay. Now they're saying the media is manipulating. Oh, he's saying the media is manipulating. Now, on that one, I have to stick up for the media. I have to tell you. He said the media is manipulating the pictures of him constantly not knowing where the hell he is. They're doing just the opposite. They're making him look better. At the G7 in Europe, and he had to be rescued by other world leaders. They had to pull him back. Then he bizarrely put his face on the Pope's forehead. What was that all about?
I'm glad somebody's asking.
That was weird. Vivek is here. That was weird, Vivek.
Is that something y'all do, Vivek? What's he asking Vivek for?
I don't know. Did you see the Pope? The Pope is like, what's happening? The Pope didn't really know what was happening. He said, this is strange. Then he froze during the celebration on the White House lawn. Then Barack Hussein Obama had to grab his hand and lead him off the stage as though he were a child. I have to tell you, Obama could have handled that differently. He could have done it a little bit softer. He could have done it like, let's go. Come. He didn't have to grab him and pull him off the stage. But he looked good, and I guess that was his primary purpose. He wanted to look good. He could have done a better job. In fact, the Biden people were very upset about that whole.
People are like, "Oh, he's just rambling at all these rallies and stuff." I'm like, "This is gold."
Yeah. It's just Trump being Trump.
Yeah, man. He seems happy too. Like
incident, but yet to be discussed. But Crooked Joe and his handlers are insisting he's sharper than ever, and they say the videos of Crooked Joe shuffling around are clean fakes. You know what a clean fake is? They're deceptively edited. They say they're deceptively edited. All of the mistakes that he's made every day. He can't go anywhere without a mistake. Now, if I'm perfect, they say he made a mistake. Perfect.
Actually, I think Trump just made the mistake there. They're called cheap fakes.
Cheap fakes.
But, reading that prompter in the sun with that big old MAGA hat on.
Plus, he's an older gentleman. These words are.
They're both old. Yeah, I'll give him that. No, I actually just clicked on the wrong one. I'm glad I did. This is Trump on crypto. Let's listen in. This made me very, very happy.
To further secure America's future and create opportunity for young people, I will end Joe Biden's war on crypto.
All right.
We will ensure that the future of crypto and the future of Bitcoin will be made in America. Otherwise, other countries are going to have it. The other countries are going to have it. We're going to defer.
And he's saying, we'll use Fort Knox and stuff. Like, it's...
What are we doing with it anyway?
All right.
The empty warehouse.
Oh, so that was Trump on the trail. He does seem like there have been moments where I'm like, did he lose the fastball? Was DeSantis right? And all this stuff. And then you see that and you're like, no, that's classic Trump being Trump right there.
No doubt.
Let's go to line one. You're on the air. Who's this?
Hey, guys.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, Bill.
How y'all doing today?
Good.
Hanging in here like a hair in a biscuit, brother.
I always hate that comment because I've had a hair in a biscuit.
Yep, then you know what I'm talking about.
So, y'all were speaking a few minutes ago about Russia's capability militarily.
Mm-hmm.
Their top fighters, the MiG-29?
I don't know if that's their top fighter, but yeah, go ahead.
How many do they have?
I don't even know.
I don't know. I've seen something out there a while back about that, but I don't.
Would it surprise you to know they only have 29 of them?
Right.
They had 30 and they just lost one to the drone attack in the Ukraine, so they've got 29. Do you know F-22, which is comparable to the MiG-29? Do you know how many the U.S. has?
No, not off the top of my head.
About 900.
Yeah, we have a lot of money and we spend it.
Well, we got a lot of credit.
So when you talk about Russia's capability, they don't have a lot.
What about in, say, the hypersonic missile world?
Well, there's a lot of discrepancy there to where their missile is a true hypersonic missile. There's a couple of guys that I follow on TikTok, and one of them has got a great TikTok. I'll try to remember to send it to Eddie, and Eddie can show it to you because I know you're no longer on TikTok, Joey.
Right.
But he actually give some specifications, and their missile is not really what the U.S. people would say is a hypersonic missile.
Okay.
But Trump is seems to be gaining a lot of speed
Yes.
and a lot of support. They convicted him of the 34 felonies, and the next week he gained $60 million or so given to him. If the DOJ keeps pressing Trump, there is no telling how much money he's going to end up have raised from all this. But have you noticed how much the news media is now airing and pointing out some of Biden's shortcomings, some of his freezing, and some of the things that he says?
Mm-hmm.
8 or 10 months ago, they would have never done that.
Now people are still wondering, is the switch going to happen here before too long?
Yeah. Who do you think they're going to switch to?
There's a lot of names you could throw out. I think the one I've heard that makes the most sense, and I don't mean in terms of like, the best candidate. I mean in terms of a lot of pull within the party would be Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, I just saw something where apparently she's having some meetings with the Democratic convention, and that looks like the direction things are going to go.
Right. Who could you pop in there without pissing everybody off that you jumped Kamala, these sorts of things? And yeah, I think that might be the way they go. And a broker convention could be a very real thing. We'll see how Biden does, I guess, next week in this debate.
We all have a great day.
You too, Bill. 272-9228. Yeah, on the Russia thing, I think the United States is still much more advanced and has a better military than the Russians. That's not in question. But, say, the Russians sharing tech that otherwise North Korea didn't have is not exactly a good thing for America either.
No.
And, Bill put out there that a drone took out one of these MiG-29. It's like, yep. We're going into a weird direction with warfare. Like, it's good to still have the best Air Force in the world and everything else in the world. But the latest wars seem to be hinging on, some precision weapons, high-tech weapons, but also some weapons that don't cost that much.
Right.
That can still cause a big headache.
What $100 drone could take out a multi-million-dollar jet?
Yeah, or even if it's a $10,000 drone, $20,000 drone, there's still, the discrepancy there, the delta there between the two is huge. And, I would suggest always to people Victor Davis Hanson's book, The Second World Wars, because for many reasons, but one that's a fascinating aspect is when you look in hindsight, the United States was inevitably going to win just from manufacturing capacity. So you have to think of modern war in terms of your actual industrial base, your ability to produce things. It's not just the edge particular weapons might have in a given moment on the battlefield.
Right.
You got to think long term, how much can you pump out and sustain an effort over a longer period of time? And God forbid, we keep talking about all these different advantages people may or may not have. I just get tired of flirting with nuclear power, like straight on war, but we are where we are. 272-9228 if you want to get on the program. That's 334-272-9228. This part of News and Views brought to you by Ashley and her team there at Pest Pro Services. And at Pest Pro, they're ready to help you with all of your pest needs.
You bet, man.
In fact, we've been suggesting make them your everyday pest control company.
Best decision I made with them.
But maybe you want to get a big job done first, like termite treatment, inspection, treatment. They can do that for you.
Yep.
And it's crucial
Very
because,
crucial.
again, damage being repaired by, termite damage, that's much more expensive than treatment and inspection.
Yes, sir.
And then, of course, they can also help you with treating your yard for mosquitoes.
You actually want to enjoy the pool or the front porch.
Jonathan's heading up to my place today. Just got a message from him on my way here.
All right.
Yeah.
And it's still working?
Yeah, it's working great.
Wow.
And that's the nice thing. I don't have to think about it. They let me know when they're coming, and I'll get a message from them this afternoon and say, hey, this is what I found. I got you locked up. Good to go.
Like, if you just want the peace of mind,
that's what I like.
Go with Pest Pro Services. So you can always go to ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. But, you know, as we say, when you want to know, call a pro.
That's right.
And that number is 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Be sure to tell Ashley and that great team that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you. Again, 272-9228 if you want to jump in on the conversation. You know, we mentioned, Secretary Allen mentioned Senator Britt earlier.
Yes.
We ran across this speech. I was wondering, why doesn't we see videos of her talking from the Senate floor, the well of the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, I guess we now have a few of them. So this was the Handmaid's Tale Act, or no, the Moms Act that she was pushing, and it failed yesterday. The Democrats, of course, killed it. Let's listen in to what Senator Britt had to say.
The legislation is further evidence that you can absolutely be pro-life, pro-woman, and pro-family all at the same time. The Moms Act advances a comprehensive culture of life. It grows and strengthens families and ensures that moms have the opportunities and the resources needed so that they and their children can thrive and live their American dreams. It's a perfect example of why I believe that the Republican Party is the party of families. What you're going to hear after I make my motion to pass the Moms Act will be very telling about whether or not Democrats can say the same thing of their party. They're about to answer that question. Are they more interested in scaring women and families or helping women and families? Personally, I am proud to support women throughout the seasons of motherhood, and I am honored to lead this pro-life, pro-woman, pro-family legislation.
And, of course, it did not pass, as predicted, because, yeah, I think she's trying to push a point of view that is supposed to not exist.
Right.
In the country, and everybody must be demonized on this particular thing. Well, like every other issue. I mean, that's just the way the world works now, right, Eddie?
Apparently so, Joey.
Goodness gracious. 272-9228. That's 272-9228. And Tuberville, checking in on our other senator, he writes in the American Conservative that CHIPS is broken and I'm fixing it. I think he's referring to the CHIPS Act. He's introduced the CHIPS Improvement Act.
Okay.
Legislation to right the wrongs of the former CHIPS Act and end American reliance on China. So CHIPS Act was signed into law in 2022. It was intended to move semiconductor manufacturing from China to America, which is a key geostrategic issue right now, especially the amount of chips made by the Taiwanese.
Right.
So in his op-ed, Tuberville explains that the final version of the CHIPS Act includes so much red tape, including DEI requirements and quote-unquote environmental justice initiatives, that companies are experiencing significant delays in the implementation of the law. Then this is just like the broadband to rural communities.
It's that way on purpose. It's built in. The handicap is built in.
So trying to propose a fix of that. But again, this will not pass. Like so many things. It does matter to a degree who's in the majority.
I don't know, man. This time the Republicans were in the majority.
Yeah, it kind of sucked too.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. Be honest, they did.
Yeah.
And I hope to God that they get their act together, because I'm about to be the third party guy too. I'm tired of the uniparty.
Well, I mean, I put out there on Twitter X just yesterday that, this is kind of the way the game is played by Washington. And folks were saying, well, but this is the system we got. We got to just go along with it. Yeah. So what is the practical goal of the establishment? To build up power within a predictable set of parameters. So no matter who wins on election day, they kind of know where things are going to go.
Yeah,
by selling the other side's sins, the two-party establishment almost always wins, unless some other outside candidate upsets this bipolar game. And thus, why you're seeing a lot of people upset by not just Trump, but RFK Jr., anybody that would challenge the duopoly up there, like truly challenge it.
That's something I kind of worry about is people like me are going to go get so sick of what we have in place out of desperation. We're going to vote on some bozo candidate just to clean house. And I'm telling you, I'm not that far from this point now, because where have I ever voted that, for one, I know for sure my vote counted, which I don't, but for two, the person I voted for actually did something beneficial for me. I couldn't tell you, Joey.
Well, they're trying.
Joey, I'm trying.
It seems
I'm
like
trying
Senator Tuberville and Senator Brett are trying.
I'm trying a lot of things, but sometimes when you suck at something, you just got to quit. Let somebody else have the torch.
I mean, they're trying.
Not putting it all on them.
No.
But I think, I'll be very honest, I've learned in politics, there's a lot more that they can do. And a lot of these times they squeal to get attention, but that's all they want, attention. They're not trying to get action.
Kind of sounds like my love life. 272-9228. Again is the number. Hey, let's see who this is on line one. You're on there. Who's this?
This is Erica.
Hey, hello, Erica. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are y'all doing?
Hanging in here.
Surviving. And you had a story. And again, folks, this is Erica Thomas, editor-at-large there at 1819 News. You had a story also on Senator Brett. It had nothing to do with the Moms Act. This was on the pastors that are still being held in prison.
Yeah, with Mountain Gateway, and they're being held in Nicaragua. This is a story I've definitely talked about on here before, but Mountain Gateway is a nonprofit. They go and they train pastors, they open churches, they help with disaster relief in Nicaragua. But the founder is from Pittston, Alabama, so he's an Alabamian. He felt led to do this, and so he did. And then 11 of the pastors that they had were arrested after this series of events they held bringing people to God. And we've seen here and there, Barry Moore has said stuff. You know, they presented this to the House of Representatives, the Senate, the president. They're saying, hey, we really need to toughen up on Nicaragua, on the government there, because they need to let these people go. They have convicted them already of money laundering and organized crime, but they haven't offered any official paperwork. These pastors and two of their attorneys were arrested and have not been able to speak with their families. No communication with the outside world. And so we did see that Biden did move a little bit a couple of months ago and toughen sanctions, but now they're saying, you know, we've got to pull out all the stops here. And Katie Britt, you know, she's a very passionate speaker. She's always the one that has those good sound bites. So yesterday she said, and I'm quoting, any options that are in the toolbox should be used to force Nicaragua to remedy the situation. Today, I want to emphasize that we cannot and we will not stop speaking up against this religious persecution in Nicaragua. So what she's saying is this is a bipartisan thing that they're coming together on. Senators, representatives in Washington are going to continue to call on the Biden administration to move swiftly to get these people released from prison, and to make sure that also the founder, who's from Alabama, his name's Britt Hancock, that he is not arrested, because now they're threatening to arrest him as well.
Right. And, you know, it is such a mess, because I also remember Senators Tuberville and Britt talking about Vulcan Industries there in Mexico. Yeah. And it just seems like our neighbors to the south, all these different countries, seem to be making moves against, say, American interest. Yep. And where are, say, the folks in the White House in particular that are pushing back against this? Or is it just open season on Americans, especially Christian missionaries?
I think it's open season on Americans for sure. And all around the world we're seeing that, because we look pretty weak right now. Yes, I mean, we don't have we don't have the backbone that we once had. And so what do you think's going to happen? This is just an example of that. I'm pretty sure some of the things we're seeing wouldn't have happened, I don't know, 5 years ago.
Right. And, well, it's another sign of decline that I hate to report on. But, hey, here's some good news.
Well, and I got to add one more thing,
Sure,
too,
sure.
because I get kind of passionate myself about this. But we're talking about the country that our great-grandparents fought for, and our grandparents in some cases. You know, my grandfather was in the Air Force all of his adult life, and I can't imagine what he would be thinking right now looking at the situation that we're in. And so it goes back to that whole patriotic pride thing. You know, this is why that's important, and this is why we need to have a strong nation, and we need to support our nation and think about us first, not everybody else south of us.
There you go. And but you have a couple stories here that are feel good. One is just a good sign things are moving in the right direction. The headline is Jefferson County Coroner reports major decrease in overdose fatalities halfway through the year, through 2024. So what's the story here?
This was very unexpected, but I look every few months. I look every day just about at the number of overdoses in Jefferson County. And I use Jefferson County because, one, the coroner there is very transparent with his information. Everything's online. It's very easy to access. But also, it's a large county, so a lot of times if you're looking at things like deaths or trends, you know, with COVID, we were looking at Jefferson County a lot because that's where you see what might happen to the rest of the state, pretty much.
Right.
So with this case, the coroner, for years, I've talked to him every year. You know, there's always this huge increase of drug overdose fatalities every year. And most of the time we're talking about opioids, so we'll just say fentanyl in particular and the big problem. That's still the case. There's still too many deaths. But so far this year, there have been 122 confirmed and 43 suspected. So that's 165 drug overdose deaths if all of those suspected cases are confirmed. This time last year, there was 244. So I'm no math person, but I did a little math. I attempted a little math, and I even called my cousin, who's a math teacher in Pell City, to confirm. That's 32% decrease. So that's the first time we've seen this in, I don't know, I would say 10 years or more, maybe, since we've seen that much of a decrease. We're only talking half year here, but it really, that's enough time to measure what we might see the rest of the year. So this is a very positive thing, whether it's the Alabama Department of Public Health, you know, training, education, what they're doing. They've put a lot of money towards the opioid crisis. They're giving out free Narcan kits. I like to say things when they're doing stuff right. I like to point that out too. And I think they've done, you know, what they can as far as that's concerned. We also have Attorney General Steve Marshall that's taken the lead on tons of cases against, like, lawsuits against the drug manufacturers that really pushed these drugs for years and gave false information to people, and really were more worried about their bottom line than what these opioids were going to do to people. We have gotten opioid settlement, millions of dollars, and then that money, Steve Marshall doesn't divvy it out, but he's the one that started the opioid case settlement. So that goes directly to local government. We're talking police department, fire department, and they get to do different things with that money that they think will help fight this opioid crisis.
Well, and I'm just glad it's going in the right direction, and you always got to be on the lookout. It does seem like there's more drug use that's like drugs of despair. Like, it's one thing to, I mean, you got to be careful whatever way. You probably shouldn't do it. People, you know, partying and having fun, but it doesn't seem like that's exactly what's going on in drug culture these days. But that's it's a good direction.
Thing he did, one thing he did say was he is concerned that some of this, people are just not dying because their tolerance is up so high. So that would not be a positive thing. Anytime somebody doesn't die, though, that's a good thing. But we hope it's not that. We hope that people are getting the help that they need. And I think, like these programs I was talking about and some other ones that are planned as far as mental health goes in Alabama, I think that we can only improve on this.
There you go. Now, another story, and again, folks, we're talking to Erica Thomas, editor-at-large there at 1819 News. A story that you wrote up that's been viral for a week, if not longer, is about this father-daughter duo here in Alabama that's really hit it big on TikTok. What's going on with this?
Yes, this story is adorable. I've been planning this story for 3 months because I am on TikTok. Like, I know that I'm so ashamed to say that, but I am on TikTok. I do get on TikTok and watch to see what's going on in the world. But this father-daughter duo caught my attention a while back, and it's Jamil and Juliana Cantrell, and he's known as the Vanilla Gorilla.
He looks
that's a nickname he got in prison. You can see his picture. Like, this is why. Like, this dude's huge. He really likes to work out, but he was in and out of prison when his daughter was growing up. And, you know, it's sad. He was one of those that got addicted. He was fighting addiction and ended up just really, really bad things that he is very open about, he admits to those things. But who doesn't love a good redemption story? So not only was he redeemed in God's eyes, but also with his daughter. They are so close. They just have a very inspirational father-daughter relationship, and it goes to show you it's just never too late. There's a lot of fathers out there that haven't always done the right thing. They probably, I'm sure most parents in general probably feel like, I've made so many mistakes, but it's just never too late for a parent and a child to connect.
Right. Well, I encourage folks to go read your write-up and then, follow their videos. But, like, what kind of videos are these? Like, are they, like, working out together, or what's the deal here?
They just make random videos. I mean, the first one ever was an accident. The first one that went viral, it was like she was at in a gym at North Alabama, University of North Alabama, and she's got her phone out and she's videoing him in the background, and he just looks bad to the bone. Like, he looks angry, like he's just looking for somebody to eat, And then he walks closer to her, and he all of a sudden, like, he just gets like the sweetest smile on his face, and you can just see the love right there between the two. And that video blew up, and now they're to the point where they have 51,500 followers, 249,400 likes. Like, I mean, they just really blew up. So now they'll just be going to Walmart. And I have to say, when I did the interview with these two, they must go to Walmart a lot, because a lot of their stories were about Walmart or trips they made to Walmart, videos they made in the parking lot. It's good stuff. I definitely would check it out.
Well, I appreciate all these stories and your time today, Erica. If folks want to check out what you're writing about, thinking about, how can they do so?
Well, please go check out 1819news.com, and not just what I'm writing, but what everybody else is writing. We have a great group, like I tell you all the time. I think 1819 News is just really doing what our motto says, and that's rise to the moment of truth, and people are really starting to catch on.
Well, I appreciate it as always. Happy to be a small part of the team myself. And until next week, if not sooner, appreciate it, Erica.
Thank you. God bless.
God bless. Again, folks, Erica Thomas there of 1819 News. This part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And there at Alabama Home Mortgage, well, Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon are ready to help you whether you're looking to buy or refinance that current home of yours. Maybe you've built up equity in. And, you missed Madeline yesterday, Eddie.
Yeah, I got to see her in the hallway. Apparently, you guys had her want me to kind of push me around in the hallway.
Yeah, well, no, on her behalf.
Kind of backfired a little bit. I was trying to be a gentleman, and I ended up bumping her into a table.
Wow.
Yeah, I know she's going to have that bruise, too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Eddie.
But I watched the clips last night.
Mm-hmm.
I love having her here. She has the most
Yeah,
sweetest
she's
face.
awesome.
And just watching you guys interact and watching her face. And even my clients call. I had a client call yesterday looking for a mortgage, and I suggested Madeline. He called me back. He's like, she's the nicest person. So I told you. And she knows what she's talking about.
Oh, yeah. She's very hip to the latest
in
the mortgage market and helping you out with a refinance deal, especially if you're a veteran.
Right.
They are certified there at Alabama Home Mortgage to help veterans out with those VA home loan programs. They can really do it all. And again, there are a lot of reasons you might be looking to buy right now. It could be your family's growing and just the time is right. And they can walk you through that process from pre-approval all the way to closing day. Or if you're looking to refinance to get credit card debt off your back or consolidate any sort of debt, or it could be you just want to rearrange your finances, they can help you there too.
Sure can.
So check out Alabama Home Mortgage today. That number 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Honey, I got my bonus check today.
That's great, sweetheart.
Let's book that Hawaiian vacation right now.
Actually, I was thinking more like an electrical upgrade for our house.
What?
It's not all that glamorous, but updating your home's electrical system is a great investment, enhancing its value and your safety. The panel and wiring in most older homes were not designed to meet modern demands. The experts at Crosby Electric can update your system to give you peace of mind.
Sorry, honey, but I just want to feel safe in my own home.
Faulty wiring and electrical equipment are among leading causes of most home fires. Crosby Electric will make sure your panel, meter, circuit breakers, and receptacles are up to date.
I can just see us lying on the beach at Waikiki.
And I can see us lying in our own bed, knowing we're safe.
Okay, but next year...
I'll dance the hula in a grass skirt.
All right.
Sleep well with no electrical worries. For a free home assessment, visit crosbyelectric.com.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by the Johnny Adams Law Firm. They want you to stay safe on the road. Please don't text and drive. Get to your destination safely. Your family and friends will thank you. From the Johnny Adams Law Firm.
It is the final day of spring officially, with summer starting tomorrow afternoon at 3:51 p.m., the summer solstice. But, of course, the summer pattern has been with us for weeks. Today's high temperature in the lower 90s. And not too bad on the humidity today, a little lower. It'll be breezy with a sun and cloud mix. And again, today, tomorrow, and Friday, radar will be quiet with the rain chances 10% or less. Tonight's low 72, up to 92 Thursday, 94 Friday. A little hotter over the weekend with the risk of some scattered showers and thunderstorms returning, but probably not many until Monday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Web Bobo with Capital Tractor. Soon we'll be moving to a brand new location in Montgomery. During our big moving sale, get a great deal on a Kubota with 0% APR up to 84 months with approved credit. Now through September 30th, 2024. See Capital Tractor in Montgomery or go to KubotaUSA.com for more details.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Again, Caroline Dobson, she was going to be in studio, but she will be calling in after the 2 o'clock hour. Of course, Caroline Dobson is the Republican nominee for the brand new Congressional District 2 here in Alabama. She's going up against Democratic nominee
Shamari figures. I was looking forward to seeing Caroline, but I think she got a flat tire or something. So she's got a call. But she's a champ, even with that crappy thing happening. And she's still going to be doing the interview, and I appreciate her. Look forward to talking to Caroline Dobson again at the beginning of the 2 o'clock hour. Now, did you see how these oil people, like Just Stop Oil, We Want to Save the Planet, are continuing to do stunts where they vandalize works of art or the new portrait of the king, which does look a little demonic?
Agreed 100% there with the portrait of the king.
Yeah, a little demonic. I think actually it was an improvement in that regard.
I think the children need their hands slapped a little bit harder, Joey, because whatever's happening, whatever we're doing is not discouraging their terrible behavior.
Now, this one made me murderous. Seriously.
Is this the one I think we were going to?
Yeah. The latest wasn't some portrait or piece of art or artifact that was caged in a museum to where they mess up the casing, but they don't actually mess up the underlying thing. They're messing with the underlying thing. And you're not talking about something made by any modern humans.
Correct.
You're talking about, of all things, Stonehenge.
Yep.
Let's watch this together.
Boy.
There's Stonehenge. Again, you can go to Joey Clark Live on YouTube or on Facebook or at the Joey Clark on the Twitter X. So there's Stonehenge in all its glory. And this is what happens. They're spraying.
Yeah, like a powder, orange powder of some sort.
Stonehenge. And you can see folks trying to pull them back, and it's like, no, don't just pull them back. Put them on the ground.
You remember a year or so ago that nun that did that running leap on one of these guys doing this crazy stuff? And she put him down.
Now, that's the sort of thing, like the people that sit in traffic are annoying and probably are going to get what's coming to them.
Oh, they're going to get it.
But if you're defacing an ancient
That's got
wonder
nothing to do
of the world.
with your crisis at all. Has nothing at all to do with it. I need the attention. There's another way to get attention.
Well, and I do wonder how many petroleum products went into that spray they just used.
From what I read, it's a water-soluble type product, but it's only escalating. It's only escalating.
That's just, it
infuriates me. That's
all the things I want to say, I can't say.
So how would you react, Joe? If you're there, and honest to God, how would you react? You're there, you're enjoying some time, maybe at friends, family, whatever, taking in this wonderful piece of art, and you see one of these people come out of the crowd.
And start doing that?
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably put them on the ground.
I imagine with you, you'll start with, hey, what are you doing? Imagine you being you will try to have a conversation, but quickly realize that they don't want to talk. And
you know me, I'm not a fighting type.
No, that's what.
But my instinct when I see this video is don't just try to pull them away. No, no, you're getting probably the move would be is a full on sprint, and it would be a forearm,
like the nun did.
A forearm right into the head or to the neck, and I'm taking you down.
That's it.
I'm not even trained, but that's where I would probably go with that. And because these folks don't look all that big.
It would stop the action immediately.
Yeah. I'm not looking to kill anybody,
No,
but it's
you
like,
would
no.
stop that immediately.
You're stopping.
Yeah.
And I'm amazed at the patience of some folks. I really am. Like all these folks that run these museums or the people that are, curating and helping to preserve Stonehenge.
Yeah, well, I've seen some of the ones at the monuments where the security guards and the cops just kind of stand there and like, we can't do nothing.
What's next, the pyramids? No, that's shoot you.
See, that's the thing. They don't do this crap in certain places because...
I got a feeel in Egypt they will kill you.
Immediately. Immediately.
You mess around with some of that stuff.
Yeah, even when we lived in Turkey, as the ruins that we got to see, most of them were honestly in the people's pastures. They just didn't take them that seriously. They were too poor of a country to realize what they had. But when they saw someone just jacking around with stuff, even the locals would quickly come over and tell you, don't do that.
Right.
It'll get worse from here. Just don't do that.
Yeah. Well, and just iconoclasm, like how much has been lost in this world Because somebody with a hopped up dream, whether you're saving the planet from oil or you're ISIS and you're fulfilling Allah's wish or something, destroy things that can never be recreated, that are tens of thousands of years old. Just the destructive side of humans is, it brings out my destructive side.
Well, look at the Sphinx. Look at the faces of the Sphinx. People used them for target practice.
Oh, yeah, man.
I mean, it's just...
Yeah, there's some folks who just don't care.
Yeah, they just don't care.
Just don't care. Nope. No home training.
No home training. You're exactly right, Joey.
I think that's what I'd say. Like, after I knocked out, you have no home training. What is wrong with you?
I think you just gave him a lesson then.
Or you could do the classic, were you born in a barn?
That's not the worst thing in the world to be born in a barn.
No, that's when you leave the door open, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's the comment. It's like hair in a biscuit. One of those things somebody came up with once. It was once witty, and now everybody says it. So now it's just like,
as cool as the other side of the pillow.
Mm-hmm. I'm simmering with rage. I don't even know what I'm doing this segment. So how about this? Let's change course.
All right.
And let's go to James Lindsay. We haven't played anything from
Okay.
James Lindsay in a while. This is at Turning Point.
Turning Point?
I like to call it Talking Point Action. Because it's just a little... Like, when I see young people all hopped up on politics, you know how Bannon was in front of the crowd, like, saying, like, November 5th will be Judgment Day, and January 20th at high noon will be Accountability Day. It's like, oh, my goodness. You know, I remember going to see... Remember when Herman Cain was a thing?
Yes.
God bless that man.
Mm-hmm.
May he rest in peace. And Dan Morris put on this huge event, and it was an amazing turnout. Truly. Like, I hadn't seen something that organic in a while. Of course, soon after, the press did the hit jobs on him. No, I kind of think it was
Got a
true.
little too close.
I think it was true. From being around Herman personally, and there were ladies in there, it was true.
I see.
But, may he rest in peace. And I remember going to that, and my grandfather went with me. And he asked me, the weekend following, going to the event, like, what'd you think of that? I'm like, not much. And he's like, yeah, me too. Just seemed a little, like, I don't know, people get worked up. But this is James Lindsay in front of that same crowd at Charlie Kirk's organization.
Oh, okay.
And let's see what he has to say. I think he's talking about the woke. Let's listen in.
Here's how it works. You divide the population into two categories. The people who are complying, who are the good guys, and the people who are not complying, and they're the bad guys. It's that simple. And what you do is you promise the population that everything is going to be good. We're going to have socialism, and it's going to work great. We're going to have racial justice. It's going to work great. We can open up the economy once everybody gets their vaccine, and it'll be great. And then you blame the people who don't comply for all of the suffering that's happening that you're probably causing to them. That's what Mao Zedong did again and again and again to conquer China. That's what they did to us with COVID. That's what they did to us with Trump derangement syndrome. That's what they've done to us with identity politics, and that's what they're doing to us with climate change. You have to be sustainable. We heard President Trump last night, sustainable rockets. Or whatever it was, sustainable jets. We're going to, what did he say, bomb the shit out of them, but we're going to protect the environment.
How are we going to do that?
Here's how it works.
Thank you, James. Yeah.
How are we going to do that?
Right, sustainable nuclear weapons, right? No, but even when that's actually the biggest test. What he's talking about there, where you're separating the sheep from the goats.
Yeah.
It's one thing if you're like, I'm serious here, Joey. Are you on my side or not? And it's something you really care about, but it's something you also think is true. And there are a lot of people that think untrue things are true, so it gets complicated. But the biggest test of somebody's loyalty is not if you go to them in a good faith way and say, I think this is true. What do you think? Which side are you on? I think the biggest test of loyalty, if all you're trying to do is arbitrarily separate folks to accrue power, is you get people to accept things they know is not true.
Yep.
Not something that's open to question, not something that's up for debate. Something that the average person even
knows is not true, and you get them to accept it as true. 2 + 2 = 5.
Yep.
And that's when you know, well, that guy's loyal.
Gotcha.
He's agreeing that new suit the Emperor's wearing is snazzy, making the Emperor look great, even though he's butt naked.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw this especially during COVID.
We're seeing it now.
You see
with
it
Biden.
with, like, the most absurd, Biden,
With
yes.
the whole, you don't see him being old.
Yeah, he's not old.
What am I looking at then?
Right. I think that's what old is.
Making fun of him or not, he's 80-something years old.
Right.
He's going to have some slowdowns. We're not allowed to point that out. When it's more than that, we're not allowed to point that out.
Right. And it's one thing to say, I believe in freedom, and if an adult male wants to, present as a female, that's your right and your freedom. But to attack the very category of, no, men and women really aren't real, it's just what people identify as.
Right.
To shatter the very concept itself is to deny reality. And that's sort of the mind-shattering stuff that is the litmus test for the revolution that's being ushered in. Across the board.
Yep.
And it happens slowly, it happens insidiously. It often happens not on public airwaves like this, or on national events and TV shows. It sort of snuck in there slowly but surely through HR departments and at that latest meeting you had with the faculty, until it is, all of a sudden, it's everywhere in the national scene. And all the corporations are pushing it. All the important people that are on the team are pushing it. It's the latest new thing. And if you go, well, it's not enough to go, I don't like it, and I'm going to seethe, and I'm going to do skid marks on your rainbow flag on the ground. I can see why people would get upset at that. If you just go, well, I don't understand why all these rainbow flags, I don't feel like celebrating, that's not enough. You can't even be independent and neutral. You have to pick a side. What was the line for the longest time? And thank God, talk of racial reckonings. It's actually been a reckoning for, in particular, Ibram X. Kendi. But he would always say, it's not enough to be not racist. You have to be actively anti-racist. You have to join our political cause. It's not enough to be gay and want freedom. You have to actively join in our queering of the society. It's not enough to be a woman who wants basic equal rights. You have to actively join in the latest project that men are women. Or else we'll call you out as some right-winger, like you're J.K. Rowling or something. It's not enough. You can't just be who you are and want freedom. You have to actively be part of the revolution. That most people, when they think about it for a second, go, I just don't think this shaving cream is true.
Right.
And if that's your instinct, and people are coming to you demanding you must say the words, then tell them to go to hell. Go jump in a lake. F off. Do it to yourself, too. Or you could just go about your day and try to make a living, too. There's also that option, and just ignore all these ass hats.
It's just difficult, Joey, when it's constantly, like you said, you must pick a side. You must pick a side.
Yeah.
I don't want nothing to do with either one of you. How about that?
Now, on my ranting and raving, I completely lost track of time.
Oh, I see that.
I really did.
Yeah.
So how about this?
All right.
Got to hit our top of the hour break.
Okay.
We usually also call Michael Cohen
Yeah,
at
that's
this
what I was
time.
thinking that. Yep.
But, James Lindsay got me going there.
See,
Appreciate
triggered.
it.
Somebody got triggered.
I did. I got triggered.
It happens.
It happens to the best of us.
It does.
Not saying the damn words. 2 + 2 = 4, you dopes. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. State officials say a firewall aimed at thwarting cyber attacks and hacking is to blame for a 911 outage in Massachusetts. The 911 system was out for about 2 hours on Tuesday afternoon. Authorities advise residents to either pull a firebox or call a police department directly for emergency assistance. Louisiana has become the first state to require that the 10 Commandments be displayed in every public school classroom. Republican Governor Jeff Landry signed the bill mandating the display. Opponents questioned the law's constitutionality and warned that lawsuits are likely to follow. Proponents say the purpose is not solely religious, but it has historical significance. Classrooms must display the 10 Commandments by the start of 2025. This is SRN News.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-0141. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-583-0141. That's 800-583-0141.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Truckers, if you are looking for green grass, contact Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. In business since 1959 and still growing. Call today, 855-777-9785.
Rich Thomas weather. It is the final day of spring officially, with summer starting tomorrow afternoon at 3:51 p.m., the summer solstice. But, of course, the summer pattern has been with us for weeks. Today's high temperature in the lower 90s. And not too bad on the humidity today. A little lower. It'll be breezy with a sun and cloud mix. And again, today, tomorrow, and Friday, radar will be quiet with the rain chances 10% or less. Tonight's low 72, up to 92 Thursday, 94 Friday. A little hotter over the weekend with the risk of some scattered showers and thunderstorms returning, but probably not many until Monday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey Publix.
Let's go right to the phones and talk to Michael Cohen from Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm all right. I just had to rant there for a second. That's why we're calling so late.
What was the name of the Lone Ranger's horse?
I don't know.
Silver? I.O. Silver away.
I thought it was Trigger.
Oh, no, I admit it. I am. It's a measure of a man to admit when he's triggered, and I was just triggered because I'm a man.
Man, Democrat tendencies. What's up with that? No.
So how's it going at Cohen's today?
Wonderful. No trigger in here.
Oh, goodness gracious. You know, when all the politics gets going, sometimes I just want to go outside and grill, especially the 4th of July coming up. And y'all have some amazing grilling options there. Not just the grills themselves, right, but also a lot of accessories people might need.
Well, we have lots of accessories, and one of the coolest things that we have is this cabinet that you can take, like what they call the grill head of like a Napoleon. You can put it in this cabinet, and it looks like it's built in. It comes in a couple of different colors, but you can also add on to it, so you can have an island or an L-shaped or whatever. You can add more pieces of the cabinetry. It's all rated to be outsized, weatherproof. It's heavy-duty metal. The doors have a beautiful close on them. Everything about it looks first class.
I love that. And, of course, you've got a lot of great brands, too, from Komodo Joe to Napoleon to Traeger, even, the pellet grills.
Traeger, not to be confused with Trigger, but Traeger.
Right. Just
sorry.
Just twist that knife. Just go ahead. Yeah, keep going. So Traeger grill.
Thank you, Eddie. No.
Yep, both my brother and my dad were using theirs on Father's Day in their own independent way, smoking briskets and Boston butter, something like
Were they
that.
both smoking a brisket?
I think they actually both were. Yeah. My dad's at the coast, brother's in South Carolina, but yeah.
Oh, okay. You didn't have them there like as a duel. You
That's a good idea, though, Joey.
A and B and see which grill you thought made a better brisket.
Well, if that's going to happen, I need to get a Traeger and then beat them at their own game. Yeah.
Of course.
Well, you get off at what time?
You have financing options, right?
That's right.
Yeah, okay. Folks, you can always go to thinkcohens.com and see everything we're talking about and more. Or you can always stop by. That's how I encourage you to do this. Stop by 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery. They're open 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. Be sure to find Michael or any of the great team members and tell them, hey, you heard Michael on the air with that triggered fella, Joey.
That's right. Yeah, come see us because none of our salespeople, nobody's trying to twist anybody's arm. We just want you to come in, let us ask you some questions. We'll help guide you to some good choices, and then we'll help you complete the sale.
Love that.
Appreciate it as always, Michael. We'll talk again soon.
Have a great day.
You too, Michael.
When we come back after these sponsors, and we're going to go to Caroline Thompson,
all right,
candidate for Congress in the brand new Congressional District 2. Be right back.
1819 News.
Alabama's Secretary of State Wes Allen, along with U.S. Congressman Barry Moore, are both reacting to the second executive order issued by Joe Biden regarding illegal aliens. The executive order that was given on Tuesday allows for 500,000 illegal aliens who are married to U.S. citizens to now receive permanent residency and citizenship without any deportation or consequences to their actions. Secretary of State Wes Allen and Congressman Barry Moore say that this is nothing short of mass amnesty. Allen goes on to say that in light of the mass voter registration efforts that Biden ordered within federal agencies, it's clear that Biden is attempting to win the presidential election by legitimizing illegal aliens rather than winning over legitimate American votes. Allen predicts that Biden will not stop this effort, which is radical and lawless, but will continue to dilute the power of legal Americans and their vote. Congressman Moore posted on social media that Biden is fighting for mass amnesty when he should be fighting for mass deportations. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
I'm Amy Beth Shaver with Alabama Unfiltered Radio, and when I need the news and I need it fast, I turn to Andrea Tice and the Daily Detail. On my way in, it is the most convenient, best way for me to digest what's going on so that I can use it for our show. She tells you what's going on in Alabama that day first and fast. So listen to the Daily Detail with Andrea Tice. Don't miss out.
The Daily Detail is available wherever podcasts are found.
Stellantis has issued a recall of 1.2 million vehicles that are sold in the U.S. and Canada. The recall involves a software problem that can cause the rear-view camera to not function. The recall involves several of the Stellantis Jeeps, SUVs, vans, and trucks that have model years of 2022 and 2023. The problem can be fixed with an online update. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
For over 40 years, Headley Plumbing has been fixing the River Region's plumbing problems with fast, affordable service. The pros at Headley are ready to respond anytime you need help, and they charge fair rates for their expert service. They help River Region homes and businesses every day, from repairing leaky faucets, septic tank service, replacing damaged sewer lines, or just unstopping a blocked drain. Trust the experts at Headley Plumbing. Call 285-3667. Headley Plumbing, 285-3667. Remember Headley's motto, in our business, a flush beats a full house.
Headley Metal Buildings has been your source for quality metal buildings in the River Region since 2007. Carports up to 24 feet wide, RV covers, storage buildings, even a sturdy metal barn up to 54 feet wide. Your structure can be customized, installed on level ground, and comes with a 20-year warranty. Let Headley Metal Buildings help you find the perfect solution. Financing available. Call 285-3667 for details or find Headley Metal Buildings on Facebook.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for waterproof carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement.
Prattville Carpet is a family-owned flooring store that prides itself on personal service, quality products, and guaranteed installation. From beautiful hardwood floors to luxurious smart strand carpet, Prattville Carpet has you covered. Call, come by, or online at prattvillecarpet.com.
Proper Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the final hour. A little late getting started in the hour. But I'm Joey. This is Eddie here in the studio.
Hey, buddy.
And on the phone, we have candidate for Congress, Caroline Dobson. Hey, Caroline, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks. How about you?
I went on a little bit of a rant, but I felt good afterwards. Everybody's making fun of me, and I thought it was good stuff. It was a good rant.
Well, I need to clarify. Trigger was Roy Rogers' horse.
What was the name of his dog?
Oh, that I don't know.
Bullet.
Bullet.
Yeah,
Okay.
somebody told me. I totally cheated.
Somebody just
called
called that, right?
Yeah.
So I guess my first question, Eddie was asking me this, is like, is she like every day out there campaigning, even right now? So are you? Like, where all have you been the last few weeks and months?
Yes, just kind of all over. Again, I think there are, obviously it's the time of year when a lot of people are on vacation. There aren't as many, ball games or, community events. But at the same time, there's still, so much to learn. There's still county commission meetings, still, individual private citizens to meet with, different kind of business owners to meet with. Again, because this district is so large and so varied, there are so many different types of small business owners throughout the district, all of whom have been impacted adversely by Biden's regulatory state. And so I'm learning something new every day about, ways in which the Biden administration has been running our economy into the ground and truly, stymieing the growth of opportunities here in the district. So it's been important to me to, learn more, because again, there's always so much more to learn, and also to try to spend as much time as I can in every community in this district. I grew up in Beatrice in North Monroe County, less than 200 people, and when a politician or a candidate came, it truly was impactful. And as a child, Senator Jeff Sessions had a town hall in Beatrice once, which was so great of him. But I mean, people in town still talk about it, so I know that when you're from a small town, you sometimes don't feel like you have a voice or have access to your leaders. And so it's important to me to not only spend, of course, a lot of time in Montgomery, where I live, and in Mobile, which is the other big population center, but time in Petrie, in Sunflower, and a lot of the small communities in between.
Yeah, and I'd imagine there's so much to learn, and it's almost like the folks living in the district are learning that they're in the district themselves too, right?
Right. Yeah. No. It's the education goes both ways, because a lot of folks are, I think after the primary, certainly some people had clarification, but then there's still such a large portion of the population that didn't vote in the primary. That large portion of the population that votes in the general election, but unfortunately is not engaged kind of at the primary stage. So yeah, also trying to kind of educate voters about, this new district, how it came about, and the fact that it is most certainly winnable by a Republican.
Now, as I look, it's still early. It really is before November. And I know all that hard work paid off in the primary, and it's why you're continuing to work hard. As I look at the national trends, one thing that seems to continue to loom large is the lawfare that I think most folks are saying emanates from the Biden DOJ. Do you see that shaping this race, especially because the presidential race is going to affect down ballot races like yours?
Absolutely. Look, I think you see the, perceived miscarriage of justice against President Trump, who does have all the resources and the connections, and still, we see the legal system kind of being stacked and really targeted against him. And so I think that resonates with some voters that maybe wouldn't characterize themselves as Republican, but have had loved ones or people they know, kind of bear the brunt of the justice system, whether or not that's fair or unfair, but, people that have felt that, especially again in small towns, maybe they have a son arrested for a misdemeanor and not have the resources or kind of the access to really get what they feel like is a fair shake in our court system. So I think, what we're seeing with lawfare against President Trump is resonating with folks that wouldn't characterize themselves as Republican previously. That combined with the fact that, my opponent, until he resigned to run for this seat, was a deputy to Merrick Garland, so was part of the Biden DOJ. So, if you are not a fan of the Department of Justice under the Biden administration, then, my opponent was part of that. So again, I think that kind of has implications on multiple levels in this race.
Now, as far as the issue of the border and all the fallout from that, and as much as the FBI is saying, oh, crime is down, there are a lot of people not buying that, especially when you see some of the heinous stories that do hit the media, in particular with illegal aliens. So as you're traveling the district, are you finding folks still very concerned about that?
Oh, absolutely. Crime and the economy are kind of the top two issues, and crime is, of course, so the rise of crime is so, interrelated with the border crisis. Rise of crime is directly linked to the prevalence and pervasiveness of fentanyl in our communities. And then you kind of look at intentional crime and also crime like the 19-year-old in Sims about a month ago that was killed by an illegal alien drunk driving. So it's again, unfortunately pervasive even in communities here, rural communities here in District 2, and certainly feeling the impacts of illegal immigration with respect to crime, to strain on resources. And then also, as we're seeing, I have to commend Secretary of State Wes Allen. He's really on the forefront of trying to bring attention to the fact that the Biden administration is trying to get as many illegals registered as they can before November. If they can't beat Trump on their own terms, if they can't beat him through lawfare, then they're going to try to register illegals and stack the deck that way.
Yeah, and it's like, what a world we're living in. This is a very strange, and not in a good way, political cycle. But also, as you travel the district, how are folks feeling the economy right now? You've, of course, got media reports and top economists stumping and saying, don't believe your own lying eyes. But so how are everyday folks feeling about the economy right now?
Oh, no. The strain is incredible. We've, as a nation, we've never had more personal debt, more credit card debt. The price of groceries is over 30% was it what it was 3 years ago. The average family of four, the cost of just basic living expenses has gone up $950 a month since Biden took office. It's basically, a little over $11,000 a year. Combined with the fact that, you don't have salaries kind of increasing on a requisite level, and even those, even voters that are that receive government assistance, that's not those dollars aren't going as far, and that's why I feel you have again some voters in District 2 that have always voted Democrat because they received government assistance in some form or another, but otherwise are socially conservative, are not like progressive, far left liberals, and I think there's a lot of opportunity too to get them to realize that America is on the brink of falling off a financial cliff because of our spending, and then also our economy is being driven into the ground with Bidenomics.
And you bring up the social issues.
I think, at least nationally, the Democratic Party is going to be talking a lot about the issue of abortion, IVF, and a lot of things involving, say, reproductive technologies and what they sometimes call health care. But do you think that's actually going to be effective in this district, just based on what you said, that there are a lot of socially conservative people, maybe despite voting patterns in the past?
Yes, look, and we should approach the issue of abortion with compassion, common sense, and consensus. And the fact of the matter is, the Dobbs court, sent that matter to the states. It's a states' rights issue, and we as Republicans aren't shining enough light on just how extreme the Democrats' position is on abortion. The fact that they want to allow abortions up until the minute before birth and at taxpayer expense. The fact that the Born Alive Act, which would have guaranteed, in a baby born in a hospital for any reason to receive basic natal treatment, was voted down by all but 2 Democrat senators in 2019. The mainstream media is not talking about this, so it's on us as Republicans to really let voters know where the Democrat Party stands now on abortion. When back in the late 60s, pro-choice advocates, their mantra was abortion should be safe but rare. They realized that it was extreme, and of course you would never hear that come out of the mouth of a pro-choice advocate today. Again, the push for late-term abortion. And again, at taxpayer expense, really needs to be discussed by Republicans more.
And again, folks, we're talking to Caroline Dobson. She is running for Congress in the brand new Alabama District 2, which includes a lot of our listening area here. Shifting gears to sort of debt, money, and for instance, I'm looking at a headline right here. CBO raises deficit estimate for this year to $2 trillion. And so, we can talk about all these things the nation needs to get done, but it seems like we're going in the wrong direction when it comes just to basic sound finance.
Oh, absolutely. And that, I think we're not getting nearly enough, giving nearly enough attention to that. I mean, in the next decade, we are going to go off a financial cliff if we do not balance our budget. And I think that's why, we need more non-politicians, not Washington insiders, but real people. I mean, you and I have to balance our budgets. We need more folks who have, worked in the private sector, operated small businesses, who understand that, there's a bottom line, and we cannot just keep spending and spending and spending so recklessly, because there won't be anything left for our kids to inherit. You and I, Joey, we can forget about Social Security.
Right.
It's not going to be there. And we keep kind of sort of laboring under this fantasy and just continuing to spend in a way that is just truly irresponsible.
It really is. And again, sticking on generally the same topic, lately President Trump really won me over by becoming the pro-crypto, pro-Bitcoin candidate. Do you think that's a good move by Trump?
Well, look, I think we've talked about it before. Cryptocurrency is sort of a brave new world out there. And I'm certainly, I think there needs to be probably, some sort of legislation to kind of address. And I think, crypto companies themselves realize that, it cannot be a currency that's totally irregulated. But unfortunately, where you see Democrats, especially like Elizabeth Warren, who has just viciously attacked cryptocurrencies, trying to kind of overlay current financial regulation on cryptocurrency, and that's a square peg in a round hole. That doesn't work. And again, I think cryptocurrency is really important in the world in which we live in, kind of given all the global uncertainty, especially for folks in countries that are under the threat of war. Well, first of all, obviously cryptocurrency is so attractive because it's truly inflation-proof. But also the fact that, if you are an individual in, a country that is attacked by China or Russia, you can truly take your assets with you if you flee. And so that I think we have to recognize that it's a really important development and work in tandem with that industry to ensure that, we're putting some protections in place for the consumer, but to do so in a way that's truly unique and adaptive to that industry, and not just trying to slap a bunch of, traditional banking or financial regulations on cryptocurrency.
Now, my rant, I want to go back to it, because what I was ranting about is the way people mobilize to take political power. And one of the things I'm noticing, especially more so in this day and age, it's one thing that, we have disagreements. Like, you and your opponent are going to have disagreements that can be in good faith, and this is why we debate and hash it out. But it seems like there is a trend, especially coming from the woke left, that they want people to believe things that people know is not true at the end of the day. And I think the most obvious example is things like men and women's sports comes to mind. But, I mean, are you seeing the same pattern? And we can pick all sorts of categories where they're demanding 2 + 2 = 5. And if you want to be part of the team, you must say that is true.
Oh, yes. No, it kind of reminds me of the childhood tale of the Emperor's New Clothes. It's like everyone's saying, oh, yeah, look at his lovely garment. And it's like, he's naked, objectively. I mean, that's certainly true, I think, on a lot of issues. And it's, if you have the courage to stand up and counter the far left narrative, then you're immediately virtue signaled. And that's not healthy, and we've got to be able, again, I think we've got to be able to be civil, certainly, but we can't be gaslighted or stonewalled. We've got to engage in discourse, and also accept kind of the reality of, with respect to the trans issue, the reality of biology.
Right.
And so I think that's, again, where, but, and that's what makes the Democrats so formidable, is because they do kind of, once they've, established a position, they're really all in lockstep. Whereas Republicans, because we believe in limited government and individualism and freedom, we're never in lockstep. I mean, on any issue, you have Republicans, whether it's trade policy or social issues, you have Republicans kind of in a wide range of what they might believe, and if they're more on the libertarian side, or or more kind of a, I hate to say the word establishment, but more of a Reagan Republican, and we never operate lockstep, because we believe in an individual's agency. And so that's often to our detriment, because it means we're inherently more fragmented.
Right. It really is. It's a divisive time. It very much is. Now, I've asked you this before, but, for folks who didn't hear during the primaries, there are some issues like cryptocurrency or some of the latest stuff that comes up where you have everybody, including those in Congress, running for Congress, you got to study up. But how did you come by, say, your conservative beliefs, or how did you come by your beliefs in regards to politics and government?
Well, I was really grateful to be raised, I was, again, raised in a really small community on a farm where, kind of the pervading values, instilled by my parents were obviously, faith in God, hard work, humility, and stewardship. And when you grow up on a farm, it's, kind of the concept of, we're just temporary caretakers of this land, of these animals, these resources. And so I'm kind of grateful. I'm very grateful to have grown up, with that sort of mentality. And then when I went to Harvard for undergrad, it was the first time I'd ever kind of been challenged on my political beliefs. Because, again, growing up in Monroe County, there are a lot of Republicans, probably the majority Republican conservative. And so you don't necessarily drill down on why you believe what you believe. And so it was an isolating experience, but definitely a formative one. And I'll also say that my parents again, we did so civilly, but we talked about politics at the table. One of my earliest memories is all during the fall of '92, when I was 5. After we all ate dinner together at the table, family prayer before dinner, and every blessing my dad would say, and dear Lord, please, if it's your will, let George Bush win. And and then when he didn't win in '92, I mean, the next day I kind of thought the world was going to end, because here my dad had been praying about it for months, and so my mom kind of had to be like, okay, Phil, you need to maybe tone it down a little bit. Our 5-year-old thinks that is catastrophizing here. So anyway, there's a way to do it, and that was maybe. I do think we should pray for our leaders, but as a 5-year-old, I was perceiving it maybe the wrong way. But I do think it's important that we, and I don't know if that's because too many people are reading Emily Post or something and think that it's not proper to talk about politics at the table. I mean, you don't want to get into arguments at Thanksgiving, right? But I do think the reason we have Gen Z is in part because we haven't been talking to our kids about politics and policy and civic engagement and, what it means to be an American, and how different approaches to government impact your daily life. And that's what my husband and I are trying to kind of navigate and figure out how to do that with our kids. But I think we need to be talking about politics at the supper table.
Well, I always appreciate the time, Caroline. I know you were going to be here in studio, but, things happen. And
yeah, I have to thank plug to Gibson's Tires for helping me out.
Yeah, I can't. I had a flat tire the other day myself. It's no no fun. Very frustrating, but I'm happy that you were a good sport to call in while you're stuck off the road for a second. But if folks want to help out your campaign as we head into this November, how can they do so?
Yes, absolutely. No, we would appreciate help no matter whether you live in or outside the district. Certainly keep me in your prayers. And also, if you live in the district, would love for you to have a yard sign in your yard if you're willing. And, of course, financial support is always appreciated. We're at dobsonforcongress.com. That's D-O-B as in Bravo, S-O-N-F-O-R Congress.com. We also have X, Instagram, Facebook, and Truth Social accounts, Dobson for Congress.
Well, appreciate it, Caroline. We'll talk again soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Again, folks, Caroline Dobson there. And, yeah, it's still very early, like I was saying at the beginning of the interview. Very early indeed. But out there every day.
Yeah, man.
Getting to know folks in the district. And it really is folks getting to know the district, the people who live in it. Like, wait, I'm grouped in. If I'm in Montgomery, I'm also grouped in with Mobile now.
Right.
Yeah.
Strange.
You got to wonder how long this district will last.
My prediction is not very long, unless they get some results that they're truly after.
Well, the courts are going to hear this again, so.
Oh, definitely.
Just what a mess. Hey, how about this? Let's hit a break.
All right.
More news and views in the afternoon after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
When your day begins well before the sun rises, when your family's livelihood depends on your equipment, Whitworth Farm Equipment is here to keep you in the field. Your tractor should work as hard as you do and keep working. For all parts, come see Whitworth Farm Equipment. For all tractor parts, implements, and trailers, and now selling pine straw bales, come see Sharon and Suzanne. Whitworth Farm Equipment, 285-9977.
Summers are fun, so how do you make this summer really stand out? You drive into summer in a new Toyota from Toyota of Montgomery. Make it the most memorable and the most fun summer ever with exceptional offers on the 2024 Toyota Corolla. Now just $207 a month. Or the hot-selling new 2024 Camry, only $285 a month. And the fun for everyone new RAV4, just $315 a month. You don't have to drive in your old car anymore. Toyota of Montgomery is paying up to $5,000 over book value for your trade-in, so you can have the most exciting summer you've ever had. These hot deals on new Toyotas won't last. Drive with the best at Sutherland Automotive. Everybody wins. So get to Toyota of Montgomery today. Online at toyotamontgomery.com. Part of the Sutherland Automotive Group. Roll LE TSRP 2019 Henry LE TSRP 30,703 RAV4 LE 31,173 12,000 miles per year for 36 months lease with $499 due at signing. $0 security deposit with approved credit. Excessive wear, tear, and mileage will affect trade value plus tax tag title and not $5 approved credit at 7/1/2024.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For years, I've been asking you to call me at Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. Did you know the current national average turn time to close on a mortgage is 48 business days? But not at Alabama Home Mortgage. At Alabama Home Mortgage, our average close time is 16 business days. That's a month faster than the rest. How do we do it? With over 60 years of combined experience in the industry. Our team knows mortgages. Our years of experience yield a better experience for our customers. Folks, time is money. Whether you're looking to buy or refi, don't waste time with another mortgage company, bank, or credit union. We close on time, every time. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Our fast turn time is just one difference that sets us apart from the rest. It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
Right now, get the hottest offers on the hottest luxury vehicles. Drive into summer with 1.9% APR financing on new Lexus models. Or drive the new Lexus IS 300, only $369 a month. Or the 2024 ES 350, now just $499 a month. Drive with the best at Sutherland Automotive. Everybody wins. Get the lowest Lexus payments now at Lexus of Montgomery, part of the Sutherland Automotive Group. Number 5130706 or C036027. 5,000 miles per year, 36 months with $3,999 due in signing. With approved credit, expires 6/30/24, plus tax and fees.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
The way to start with this is just find things that are interesting, go into ChatGPT and ask it to write a post. And you're not going to like the first thing you get back.
Kai Gray is a power AI user, and in the show, he gives us concrete examples of what AI is doing for him as well as colleagues in his AI Learners Group. This one you don't want to miss. Listen to What's Working Saturday noon or find us online at what'sworkingcam.com.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy?
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Rounding out the show today. No more guests, Eddie.
Okay.
I mean, we'll talk to Ray Bowles or anybody else on the phone.
All right.
But we don't have any more guests today.
That'd be good.
So, I want to go because I'm getting a little tired.
Okay.
To help back up what I'm saying about the economy, you know, I was asking Caroline, how are people actually feeling out there? Peter St. Onge, great video out today, where he is talking about how folks are actually feeling. And the headline here is, consumers are already in recession. Meanwhile, inflation expectations now exceed the peak of Biden inflation. Washington is repeating the 1970s disaster to a T. Out of control federal spending, cheap money for Wall Street, endless wars that actually make us less safe.
Yep.
So to lay all that out, because that's a big claim, and I think Peter's got the big brain to deal with any objections, but let's listen in to Peter St. Onge.
Fresh data says the American consumer is already in recession. Meanwhile, inflation expectations are now higher than any time during Bidenflation. It's a Bidenomics miracle just 4.5 months before the election. The consumer numbers come from the widely cited University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Survey, which is pretty much the gold standard of what consumers, also known as Americans, think about current and future economic conditions. Now, consumer spending makes up roughly 2/3 of the economy, so this is one of the most widely watched numbers on Wall Street. Well, last month, the consumer survey tanked, going from 69 to just 65.6. Now, anything under 70 is historically a recession, meaning that according to the gold standard, we are in a recession. Congratulations. It's worth noting that Wall Street had expected a 72 on the survey, not a 65. That's a 3 sigma miss, expected by chance just 0.27% of the time. So either they are smoking the wacky tobacco on Wall Street, or they really, really want to sugarcoat this economy. My friend Joe Consorti broke down the numbers. After a quick bump into expansion last September, the economy has been all downhill, plunging at the fastest rate since the 2008 crisis, and of course since lockdowns. That calendar almost perfectly coincided with the upswing in inflation I've talked about recently, which also started in October, suggesting that when the BEA gets around to announcing the formal recession, presumably after the election, since they are politically aware gentlemen, September or October should be the prime suspects. Speaking of inflation, that's where Michigan got really ugly. The average response has absolutely soared, hitting 5.3% for the average inflation expectation over the next 5 to 10 years. That is very bad. In fact, during the worst of Bidenflation, when actual inflation was a statistical adjustment shy of double digits, inflation expectations never got above the mid-4s. And here we are at 5.3. Joe notes this is exactly what happened in the 1970s inflationary double peak, when headline CPI drops were accompanied by soaring expectations that, as always, turn out correct. Suddenly, that's one of the odder quirks of Wall Street, is that consumers predict inflation. In fact, they predict many numbers better than either the Fed or Wall Street, begging the question why we have government and Wall Street analysts. But then that's another video. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained.com. The chickens are coming home to roost on Washington's grotesque mismanagement of our economy. From the Inflation Reduction Act that actually increased inflation but paid off green billionaires, to the endless trillions we are shelling out for wars, mass migration, really anything so long as it doesn't help average Americans. The regime media hypes their baked numbers, claiming everything is fine, even as real incomes collapse, down $1.4 trillion in 3 years, and even as the headline jobs turn out to be all gig work, government jobs, and migrants. Of course, regular Americans see the truth because they are actually living in the real economy. For now, they are speaking through surveys. Soon enough, they shall be speaking at the ballot box. Final point, this isn't just happening in America. Canadians, Brits, Europeans, and Japanese are all treading water, struggling to survive in a top-heavy economy dominated by donor-driven government spending at the expense of the people. It is reflected in gutter-level approval ratings. So during the recent G7 gala, commenters pointed out how every single leader, aside from Italy's Meloni, is sporting an approval rating in the 30s. Bottom line, people are angry, and it's tick-tock till they throw the clowns out. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.
Again, folks, that's Peter St. Onge. Always great hearing his commentary. And I think the prediction he's making is correct.
I believe he is correct.
Welcome back, 1970-something. It's across the board.
Yeah.
And
they know it, and they're not doing anything to change it either. Just putting gas on that fire.
Right. We shall see. There's a lot of ruin in a nation, but it does seem things are pretty ruinous right now.
Mm-hmm.
How much are we going to chew through the American citizen? I was sitting there thinking, when he said consumers think, he goes, which are Americans, by the way. Isn't it, I get their technical terms, but aren't there moments, Eddie, where you're like, I'm not just a freaking consumer.
Yeah, a lot of those moments.
I'm not just a voter.
But that's how they see us, Joey.
Yeah,
exactly how
I'm not just a product or a stat.
You are a product.
I'm a human being, damn it.
No, not in their eyes, buddy. You're a number. You're a number. And not just a serial number or your social security number. You're a number to, hey, this is how much we can give away of our income because we got suckers like Joey and Eddie that are working at it every day.
Yep.
We can keep giving it away.
Yeah, and there's something coarse about it.
It is.
It's abrasive. And it makes you wonder, like, how do they actually see us? As cattle, too?
I think they look up to cattle.
Yeah. As livestock to be milked and fleeced, essentially?
Yeah. Yeah. I used to think that's how the Chinese government looked at their people. How much, this is a product. How much can I produce out of this? What can I get for this?
Well, but also,
that's us.
You mentioned in China, and this applies to the United States as well, the ruling elite in the United States. Do not underestimate how much they fear the population.
Oh, I know they do. But what kills me, the population doesn't realize that.
Right.
That's what eats me alive.
Well, I think even you and I already have a misanthropic streak, especially when I'm sick. I'm like, just let the nukes fly. But I'd imagine, like, you're a man of the people. You really are. I'm not making a joke here. But I'd imagine if you all of a sudden had to be working in the C-suite, like it wasn't just Eddie running his own business and earning his own bread. It's like you're having to run this whole elite institution. You have to be concerned with political trends. You have to be concerned with a lot of different things. You might be surprised how much you start to get a little bit of a disdain or at least a distrust and fear for the everyday person. Because you know you're doing so well, despite how crappy everybody else is doing. And even if you have roots in the everyday, like the average American life, if you're removed from it, there is something where there's this divide happens. And I think the biggest divide in this nation is not Republican, Democrats, not black, white, men, women. It is a matter of class.
Yeah.
And there are some people in the elite who are great. Like they are talented people. You would trust them to babysit your children. But there is a streak in American politics right now that is contemptuous and disdainful of the everyday American person and their opinions and their point of view. And it doesn't end pretty. If history teaches us anything, that sort of contempt and disdain does not end pretty.
But it's in our faces now. Even Hillary Clinton's the latest one that I can remember. Who's going to lecture us? You got to do this. You've got to vote this way, you big dummies.
Right.
And I'm so sick of that.
But again, we got to give a little honey with all this. The good news is there is a growing middle class in the sense that there are folks who I'm not talking economically. I'm talking in terms of their mindset. They're middle class in terms of how they view themselves. There is a growing middle class, and there's a lot of them. And this is why you're seeing these polls showing breakdowns of the traditional Democratic coalition. I think there are more people starting to think of themselves as middle class, which means humble in a lot of ways, but I can do.
Right.
I can build my own business, or I can work for a small business. Yep. I can make my way. I can build wealth and share it with my children. And in particular, I think this is why you're seeing black voters under 50, Hispanic voters under 50, a lot of young people in general, even men and women. Actually, the men and women thing, the partisan divide there is remarkable. It still is. That's such a fascinating issue. But when people change their mindset about what class they're in, that I'm not a frickin' peasant. I'm not somebody who's looking for you to save me from myself or save me from some big bad force that I can't control. No, I'm looking for you to basically leave me alone and let me do what I can do for my people that I love. And I think that mindset is dangerous to the current ruling elite in this country. Do I think everybody should hang from lamppost? Hell no. Probably what most of the elite need are pink slips. Go do something else. And you'll probably do something good. But daggum. We'll see. It's not just about the election, too. It's about how Americans are consuming their information, how Americans view themselves and their country's place in the rest of the world. There's a change happening, and I think that is for the better, despite all the negative news in terms of the long-term trends that we're seeing. 272-9228. Gotta hit this break. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by H&H Carpets, where you will find a complete line of Mohawk carpet with exceptionally clean, smart strand fiber. It's always available and ready to be installed. H&H Carpets across from Walmart on the Atlanta Highway.
Rich Thomas weather. Well, hi, everybody. Officially, this will be the last night of spring with the summer solstice tomorrow, beginning at 3:51 p.m. Tonight, I think we stay dry with the overnight low temperature down to about 72. Tomorrow's high 92 on the first day of summer, with the rain chances about as low as it can get, about 10% or less tomorrow. And also on Friday, with the high tomorrow 92 up to about 94 on Friday. Then the risk of some widely scattered storms returning to the forecast Saturday and Sunday. Not many, with upper 90s by Sunday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Whether you're buying a home or auto or consolidating debt, CB&S Bank's personal loans get you where you need to go. Go to cbsbank.com to find a location near you or apply online today. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdit. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Hey guys, are you looking for a professional and reliable tree service company in the Montgomery and surrounding areas? Well, check out the folks at Tree Masters. It's a name you know and trust. From pruning to full tree removal, they'll even help you remove your shrubs. They service all of Central Alabama, including Lake Martin and Lake Jordan. Call them for a free quote today at 334-676-3638. That's 334-676-3638. Tree Masters.
When you use Bounce dryer sheets and your clothes look amazing, it's the sheet. Less static in your life? Yeah, it's the sheet. Smelling fresher than ever? It's the sheet. Oh, so soft fabric? Ooh la la. It's the sheet. Less wrinkles on your clothes? You know it's the sheet. Bounce dryer sheets. More freshness, more softness. Less static, less wrinkles. It's the sheet.
At Guardian Credit Union, we believe that banking should be personal, just like the relationships we build with members. Imagine a place where you're not just a credit score, but a valued part of our community. At Guardian, our dedicated team takes the time to listen, understand, and tailor financial solutions that fit your unique needs. From buying a car to saving for college and even starting a small business, we've got you covered. Come experience the Guardian difference and let's achieve your financial goals together. Guardian Credit Union, where you belong. Federally insured by NCUA.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. This part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And there at Montgomery Men's Health, well, men, you better listen up because they can help you out, especially if you're experiencing symptoms that are usually associated with low testosterone.
That's right.
So if you're lacking energy and drive, always feel tired, including a decrease in that sex drive, it very well could be low T. Also, if you're weight gain, losing muscle mass at the same time, just feel like you're walking through your life in a fog. Knowing whether or not you have low T is huge in combating some of these issues. Or maybe you have a problem like ED. Those issues are, nothing to be ashamed about. You got to get this stuff fixed, gentlemen. And so here's the beautiful thing. The providers there at Montgomery Men's Health will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup. Also includes a PSA test.
That's right.
Great marker for prostate health without getting the whole finger up there.
Right.
Right. But, and also a consultation. PSA, testosterone test, consultation, only $99. And they have low T treatments there at Montgomery Men's Health that can truly change lives. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym. Brother. Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism, and you usually even notice an increased libido.
That's all right.
And you can actually book the same day that you call. Guys, make that call today. 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today. Let's go right to the phones. And actually, I'm going to go to Ray.
You talk to Ray? All right.
Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet.
What's up, Ray?
Oh, I'm in a meeting with Ronnie. Ronnie, you want to say anything on the radio? He's one of my builders. And how long have we been working together? 30 years. Something like that. It's been forever.
He didn't sound happy when he said
sure
that.
didn't.
Yeah. Hey, he's put up with me for a long, long time because you don't ever know what I'm going to say when I'm around. You know how that is.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, but hey, look, if you're thinking about coming to Prattville, Batesville, wherever, that's something that we can really hook you up with some really top-end, top-notch builders that are used to homes that are $300,000 all the way to $5 million, and anywhere between. Just like we deal in homes that go anywhere from $200,000 to $5 million.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're new to the area, you're not sure what builders use, call us. Because really, truly, you want the flooring guy to tell you who to use. We're the last one in.
That's true.
And we see everything. So, it's one of those things. If you need a plumber, tell me who to call me. An electrician, I know who to call because we're the last one in.
That's right.
But if you need a floor, definitely call us. 285-8117. We'll come out and give you that free measurement. And next thing you know, you got a floor down just that quick.
And when you call 285-8117, be sure to tell them, well, you heard Ray Bowles on the radio with those two fellas, Joey and Eddie.
And Corey Stevens is another one of my builders, and he listens to you all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Next time you have a meeting, you need to do it right around 3 if you want to be on the radio.
Well, thanks for listening, Corey.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it, Ray.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good one, Ray.
Only got a minute left. Eric, the dog, on the line. Hey, Eric.
Hola.
Hey, bro.
Can you help us out with what did we learn today?
Well, I before I heard about businesses, people trying to start businesses and feeling empowered, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I had a phone call in the middle of the show. It went a little long, so I didn't hear everything today. I did learn that Eddie was unhappy at the beginning of the show, and I hope he feels better now.
Yeah, he seems a little better.
Thank you, Eric. All is good.
Yeah, I almost wanted to be like, who peed in your Cheerios today?
Realtors peed in my Cheerios today. That's who did it. Every one of them in this town did it.
You want to get even with them, you just take me with you to your next meeting. I'll fix them right on up there. It won't even be your fault.
That's probably part of my
you
problem.
Just drop me off in the parking lot.
I don't go to the damn meetings. That's part of the problem. Yeah.
Yeah, going to meetings is bad now. Sometimes you learn some stuff, and sometimes it's just, why am I here?
Yeah, and also given that it's Juneteenth, I don't want to hear about them meetings.
That's true.
What are you talking about, Joey? That's
I don't know.
I get it. I get it. You're racist.
Yeah.
I get it. I didn't know that, but I do now. And knowing is half the battle.
That's right.
There's a lot of people looking to start businesses and go out on their own feeling, I don't know if they feel empowered or you just know that working for other people, you ain't ever going to get rich and you're not ever going to have the perceived freedom you think you might get. And I know it's not all rainbows and unicorns and stuff, but you're never going to get rich working for somebody else on somebody else's schedule. It's just not how it's designed. It's like going to the casino to get rich. That's just not how it works.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
well,
there's a lot of that going around, and I'm suffering myself. So if y'all know anything, don't tell me because I'll probably mess it up. But we gotta.
Well, on that very uplifting note, I got to run, Eric.
We'll see you, dog.
All right, y'all.
And we got to get out of here. Happy Hour with Greg Budell and Rosie and the whole gang. They're next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM.